You guys ready for today?
No.
Oh, born ready, I guess.
Yeah.
Good.
How bad could it be?
I've been dealing with post-nasal drip this weekend, so
Oh,
it's gross.
Oh, no.
yeah. So some cool stuff happened this past weekend. Most of us, I tried to get Giacomo to travel, but he told me,
Kick
no.
rocks.
Kick rocks. Try not to curse in the first few minutes of a YouTube video / podcast. But to my this way, we have Liam and we have Casey, both from the Vegas crew. What is your guys' team name?
Ooh. Sin City Kill Team.
That's right.
Sin City Kill Team, love it.
Mm-hmm. We all went up to Utah and we all played in a tournament together. Had a great time at Salt Lake, and we had a blast. Quite literally, the demo kind of went off every game. Did some stuff. It's funny.
Not me.
There was a lot of it was crazy. Like there was I think there was 14 people signed up, 13 people showed up, and after round 2, like 3 people dropped. So there was like 10 people. And 6 rounds, so we basically played everyone. Everyone basically played each other, which was crazy.
That was cool.
Yeah, it was sick.
It was nice to get the rounds. It's super cool to play some people from the local scene too.
Yeah,
I mean the ones that stayed. Thank you who did stay.
So is Kill Team relatively new out there in Salt Lake, in that area? Because I know you guys are Nevada, but you're kind of adjacent.
It just seemed like it was a little remote. It's a little spread out, hard to get to each other.
Yeah, I definitely think that there's 2 specific TOs out there. There's Chase and Brad, and they're both out there doing the Emperor's work, trying to grow their scene, and we appreciate them. I think that we appreciate anyone doing that TO stuff, not being able to play, including yourselves, right? In Vegas, you guys just had a 22-person tournament, right?
Oh yeah, we had a big blowout. We did a beginner-friendly 3-round tournament, and we ended up having 22 people. We had 24 signed up, 2 dropped, just from life stuff. But we showed up, had 22 people, and it was beginner-friendly. Hey, don't bring your kill teams painted. Have a good time. First place is a chainsword right in the background, Casey right there. He won it. So far we had I would say 2/3 were basically new people.
Hell yeah!
Not that many, but yeah, quite a few.
Maybe 1/3. It was a lot. It was a lot of people that were.
It's really cool seeing. So this was our 4th or 5th event, and something that I noticed is other than the people this was their first event, but everybody has shown up at least twice. So it's really cool to see people keep coming back, and
means you're doing something right.
You're doing something right.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's cool. It's definitely cool seeing the West Coast get bigger outside of the Portland and Washington and Southern California area, right? Even Bay Area is growing, and now Las Vegas is getting big, right? I just saw Arizona's doing a tournament here soon, and Utah. I think this was Utah's biggest tournament, so that's cool.
Cool.
Yeah. I know that when me and Giacomo started, we started with 5 players.
Yeah,
and then that was our very first event, 5 players, and I had Saya and Giacomo play, and then I was the ringer, and I just ran Veteran Guard, and I just ran at them and just fought them, which turns out that's the new way to play Vet Guard, everyone. That's the surprise. We'll get into that a little later, but. But yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. We can look at the Salt Lake Open real quick. We played it this past weekend, right? I guess we'll look at the rosters real quick. We had Andrew Dean dropped, Benjamin dropped, but we had Brad, Casey. Casey, you're like you're like a Hand of the Archon diehard, my guy. What happened?
Oh, I was just taking a little break.
That's fair. That's fair.
I'm playing them at the next one. I just I have 2 painted teams, Hand of the Archon and Comrades. So
and now Scouts, right?
I asked my buddy, I was like, hey man, I just want to mix it up for 2 weeks. Do you have anything I could borrow? He said, sure. So I just borrowed some scouts, and
Hell yeah.
I did our local event, and I did Utah, and I'm doing Hode at the next one. And actually, I wanted to try Mandrakes, but they just weren't working in my brain. But I asked Adrian like what he thought about them, and he completely changed my mind. So I might give them a try later, but I do want to do a little more Hand of the Archon, yeah.
And is this Adrian Bonavento? Or okay, cool. Yeah, Adrian's a great dude.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we had myself on Veteran Guardsmen, Felgor Ravagers, and then we had Liam on Novitiates, Michael, who we're missing today. He's working, so yeah, it is what it is. We got him on Phobos, Mandrakes, Hernkin, Nemesis Claw, and Novitiates. So that's pretty cool. Did you guys have a good time at the event at least?
I had some great games, man. Those were fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had some pretty good games. I got to do I've been trying to catch Zach out in the streets, man, and I finally cornered him at that game. we had to do a little talking about it, but yeah, he was down to do it.
Yeah, nice. Did you guys get to play at that event or?
Finally, yeah. So Tacoma, I saw him, and I was super hoping that we'd get matched up because we were doing really good. And I was like, yeah, Novitiate mirror match. I want to do all that crazy stuff. And then we missed each other.
So this was like blinding aura, blind to faith. What is it called? What is that?
Yeah, blinding aura. I don't know. I call it blinding faith or whatever. But
that's right.
I was like, yeah, I'm gonna heal myself. I'm gonna shoot you. I'm full health though. It doesn't matter. You can't do it too.
What's like
Only one of us gets to do it.
What's like the moment in that mirror match where it decides the game for Novitiate versus Novitiates?
Who has more faith points?
Well, yeah. If you're me, you're super unfaithful to the Emperor. Apparently. Yeah. Dakota prayed to the Emperor for his game, and I did not.
Yep. Right at the beginning of the round, I got down. I was like, the Emperor protects. And then I kept telling him, I was like, dude, you got to do it. And he was like, nah, man. And he just kept rolling ones. And I was like, it only works against mandrakes, my guy. You got
to. Well, Zach got me this time. It was a super close game. He who opens the door and into the dark against Novitiate loses. So I did it first.
Okay. That's fair. That is fair. So, Casey, how are scouts? They are kind of, so I know SoCal is like super pumped on scouts right now.
They're cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't understand them at all. And then I asked, Jeshua about it, and then saw your podcast where he was like giving it the breakdown. I was like, oh, because beforehand I was doing it like old Counter-Strike, where I just gave all 10 guys knives and the leader of the chainsaw and just like ran them out, like get some headshots if you can, you know. But no, then like actually trying to break them down. They're really cool. For me, the most fun part is the pregame setup, right? All the traps and you know, setting up for that. But yeah, they're I don't know, man. They're a lot of fun. They're just, you know, I like to go fast. I like go fast teams, and so I'm back to elves, you know.
That's fair. That's super fair. Yeah, it's scouts seem like they would be a lot of fun, and they have a lot of really good matchups right now. So
to me, they feel like how our B-Days or Exaction Squad looks like they should play. Like they feel like door pickers. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Walk up, shotgun, clack, clack, and then just cut through the rooms. Yeah.
They're cooking with shotgun shells, rather than gas.
Power sword knives.
Yeah, this guy cooks with chain swords, and faith.
Now, obviously, it's not inherently true, but do you think like all the shotgun teams kind of have a similar play style? So whether you're using scouts, RBDs, and was it the
Reachers?
Maybe Reachers.
Wormblade.
They all kind of have like a similar. Oh, Wormblade's another one with shotguns.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
those are nice.
Do you feel like they have a similar play style, or at least one thing in common?
Yes and no. I have not played as Wormblade yet. To me, numbers wise, scouts are the best execution on it, but I actually think the utility from breachers. I know people are like really cool on breachers after all of the success of nerfs, but I'm painting up a third team right now, and it's breachers.
Heck yeah!
I think that here's the thing, right? They're really predictable because of the orders. That doesn't mean you can stop them. I just think there's a lot of utility there with the hatch cutter, the demo, the group activate. They're similar, but they're like variations on a theme, right?
So breachers fell out of favor because they really struggled into melee hordes, right? So they were really strong, and then Felgor came out, then Colts came out, and then Orcs were good, and they just kind of started struggling in the meta, right? And we saw that. And now all those teams continually get nerfed.
Yes.
We might see them rising back to power for sure. I could see that.
God, I hope so. I want to play Inquisition really badly after seeing Spain doing crazy with them. And I'm just like, breachers in Inquisition, I'm ready.
Yeah, it's pretty disgusting when you can take the Mystic buff and give it to your Axe Jack, or give the Mystic buff to to even your leader or the Pistolier. You can just walk up to a Wormblade operative and just like one of the Locusts or something, and just like she can just plasma pistol double shot and just incinerate people with
the extra
Mystic buff.
attack on the demolition charge guy is hot. Like it's tricky to set up, but if you can do it by like doing a hatchway cut, and then so that gives them the opportunity for the demo guy to walk through, and then you just hide the leader back there, or the skull. Having 5 attacks on that demo charge on a group of guys,
crazy.
So
you guys are streaming your events now too. Where can someone go and watch your first? It was your first streamed tournament recently, right?
Yeah.
You guys have a YouTube channel?
So we're going to keep the Sin City Kill Team name out of it. I'm just going to put it on my channel. We're putting it on Chiller, so I just keep using my Discord name, put it on Chiller. And we're going to try to stream. We play on Tuesdays usually over at one of our local game stores. So we're just trying to do a weekly stream when I got the time for it. But we're definitely streaming the events when we do got them. And our first time, I'm terrible at OBS. I've never streamed in my life. I was super nervous. I was like, I'm typing it away. I'm trying to get it going. And it worked. And I was like, oh, hell yeah. And people got to watch it at the big screens while they are at the event. And they loved it. So we're going to keep streaming it. And I think it's in your Discord. I popped it in there in the pod discussion. And so I was like, oh, yeah, I got it. I think Giacomo was like, hey, where's it at? I was like, here it is, man. Yeah, so we're gonna try to do those pretty much every Tuesday or big events, and we'll just do like a one-off, maybe some commentation stuff later.
Yeah, so everyone, if you guys want to watch some battle reports, some live ones, go check out Chiller's channel. It's going to be sick. And also, I want to thank you both for you guys have come to quite a few of the Squad Games tournaments recently, right?
Those are cool. Thanks for
yeah, we love them.
Good. And then there's a couple more you guys are looking forward to coming to. What is the next one up? The All Valley Team Tournament?
Yeah, we're already signed up.
Oh, yeah, we're ready.
Mike may or not be able to make it, so we got to grab maybe a different third there, but then we've also got more friends who are interested, so we might just like get a van or something and like I'll pile in and come hang out with you guys for a few days.
Hell yeah, let's go.
At least that one, maybe a couple more. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, we
want 2 teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. It's interesting. The very first time I think Bats came down, they came down with 2 teams. Last year they came with 3, and now they're trying to come down with 4. A bunch of psychopaths from the Bay Area. But if anyone else is interested in the All Valley Team Tournament, we're giving away 3 golden tickets. I think it's September 21st and 22nd in Los Angeles, and you can find the link in the show notes or the YouTube down below. It's a 1v1v1 team tournament, and you're not allowed to bring the same team. And we're going to have a competitive open board, Into the Dark, and then a more rule of cool terrain board. So, and then it's going to be interesting because it's going to be like, hey, do you want to put your best player on the Rule of Cool board where there's like winter terrain and all this other kind of stuff that you typically don't see, and you're like, oh yeah, or maybe everyone's going to fight over that board because the other two are like, oh, I hate Into the Dark. I don't like competitive, like it's going to be cool. It's going to be fun. And my other favorite thing about the All Valley is that you can carry your team and you can just blame them for losing every game. Or maybe you lose every round and they win every round and you win the whole tournament, So, and then if you all lose together, you can all go drink afterwards or have fun afterwards. I don't know what you do, but yeah, it's cool. It's a fun time.
We're trying to talk one of our friends into coming with us, and he's unsure about playing, but we want him to come anyway and just be coach, right? Just in between games and be like, all right, here's what you do, right? You got this matchup. You want to think about this? We're like, dude, yes, sensei, let's go. Let's knock it out.
Hey, listen, sensei friend, you're coming, okay? Everyone needs a coach at the All Valley, okay? They all need it, right? So
in my corner.
Let's go.
But Giacomo, going back to Salt Lake, do you have any specific burning questions about? You were not there, so a lot of this is probably new information. I've told you about my games.
Yes.
But how about these guys? Where did you guys place?
Oh, I don't even want to look at it. That was bad.
Yeah, it was not my best performance, but hey, I did what I came there to do, and that was shout out to Zach, but I tried to be above him, so I came in 6th, he came in 7th, so I did good.
Yeah,
for me, personal for me.
You can leave me cut off. That's fine. We'll just go up a little bit.
Hey, look, I'm trying to have some rivalry here. I've been trying to knock him down on the novitiate ITC all week. So.
All right. Yeah, I mean, you. He may have got you in the end. He may have won the battle, but you won the war. You won the war, Liam. You won it.
Try.
There you go.
Got it.
I'm chasing him down. I want him to look in the mirror and see me right behind him.
Man, my bro.
G, do you have
right now?
Yeah, G, do you have any questions? I can pull it up. I'll go here.
Like, I'm already excited that an elite team made it in the top 3. So, and he's one of your homies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mike
even
is really
better.
good. Yeah. A lot of people are not as hot on Reavers, and Mike loves them, and he's made me a believer. He's super good. Yeah.
See, I've been a believer this whole time. I'm like, bring 5, and everyone calls me crazy, but I don't think.
I mean, 2 for sure.
I think 4. He goes 4 and 2.
4, okay.
He does the marksman and the mine layer, and then he goes 4
that feels
Reavers.
right.
And man, they're boy, couple of AP1 like pistol shots, and you're suddenly like, yo, I get it.
It's interesting. He only brought 2 against me.
2
Does he norm? Yeah, he only did 2 Reavers, and I was like, "Oh, you're bringing 2 Reavers? Cool. I'll bring a hand axe, and we're gonna fight."
Oh, interesting.
He must have been scared.
Yeah.
He was. I think I did 5 damage to him on one time, and then he murdered him.
Yeah, you won the
Oh
moral
yeah,
victory.
that's yeah.
Yeah, my little guardsman was a little train that thought he could. Still 5 damage to a.
Did you guys play on capture? On Overlord?
It was the end of day 1, right? Yeah, so I think we did play capture. Yeah, we did play capture. Yeah.
I think that might be a different match if it's ITD loot. Or ITD
Oh, yeah.
loot. You guys got to retry that. That'll be a fun one.
I'm down. I'm down.
Come out here. We'll do it.
I definitely am planning to come to Vegas. I think I'm going to Nova and Kill Scream, but outside of that, I'm definitely down to come to Vegas and play in some tournaments. It's so much closer than driving to Utah.
Yeah.
And then on my way home, getting in a car accident was not my fault.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I was driving straight, and somebody was like trying to enter the freeway from the farthest left lane, and just went. I was going like this, and they were like, I was going this is me. This one's me. And he was like, whoosh, and I was like, onto the wrong entrance of the freeway. And then I had to drive the wrong way for a while. It was great.
Oh man.
Yeah.
We're here. Thank God.
I am. And I even stopped in Vegas to sleep. So I was like, hey, I'm not going to be tired. We're going to be good. And then I'm like 20 minutes from home. This guy.
The world was like, nah, not today.
Yeah,
Yeah, at
not
least,
today.
okay, you had a little faith remaining after that.
Ah.
That's
Oh, hell
No
yeah.
kidding. No kidding.
What was the terrain like?
Ooh.
I'll tell you. It was good stuff. It was good stuff.
It was
But
interesting.
first, Liam, you're trailing right now, my guy.
Yeah.
You're trailing right. How's he doing? Oh, wait. Has it? Oh, Salt Lake is out. Okay.
Perfect.
All
right. Let's go.
They haven't added Tacoma yet, so maybe I have a chance because I did.
You did really well at Tacoma. You did really well.
Yeah, I did. I came in 14th, and crazy enough, I think Zach was literally right behind me again. So I did it. I did it again.
All right, Zach. So you're 130 points behind him. All right. Okay. You got this. I believe in you. Zach, you take beautiful pictures, but Liam is going to take you down. Okay.
I'm coming for that number. I don't think I get number one. That whoever's number one, he's crazy. Like there's so many points.
Xavier Gyro.
Jeez.
He's an animal.
US or world?
I don't know.
It's gotta be world. That guy's Spaniard for sure.
Oh yeah,
Look at
Spain
those
is
names.
crazy.
Major goal. I don't think I can say this word out
Jordan,
loud.
I think.
Yeah,
Oh,
don't
okay.
try it. Don't try it. It's a trap.
I thought that was I thought that was an STD name. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, this is cool.
Try it.
All right. Yeah.
A little rivalry.
Yeah, I like it.
Trying to keep it alive. Novitiate's such a small community, so I know on the Command Point Discord they're always chit chatting, but I'm out there doing the Lord's work. I mean, the Emperor's work.
See, like now Kellen's gonna see this episode and he's gonna be like, "Oh, I have to get back on the novitiates train." You know, maybe he won't.
I think I'm retiring them, and I'm actually moving on to Exaction Squad. So,
Oh my gosh!
I know.
Are you
Gonna
just
double watch
Kellen?
this video
Are you
and
just
like-
Kellen?
No,
Are they
no,
S tier? Do you think they're S tier?
I think they're. Well, I don't think they're D tier. Whoever's saying that is crazy.
D for dominant.
D for I don't know. they're not bad. They just suffer. They just
That's
suffer
fair.
a lot, and they could really use some help. And the buffs did them good. It's just I feel like the buffs didn't really fix the gunner problem.
It's
Needs to be addressed.
It's the GW. It's what GW likes to do. They like to buff teams and then give them the wrong buffs. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
the rerolls are cool. Just the wrong kind of rerolls.
yeah. So are you and Casey? You're thinking about jumping back to Hand of the Archon, right?
Oh yeah,
Or
I just took a little break. They're super fun. I might do mandrakes, might do breachers, but same thing with novitiates. It's like a really small community. I find them super fun. Right now, I think I'm still the number one ranked ITC Hand of the Archon player this year. There's some I think Russian
I can find out.
who could catch me. So I want to go to like another bigger event and juice my numbers a bit more. But yeah, dude, they're fun. I love them.
All right. Yeah. You came out to, you definitely came out to the Pacific Skirmish that we ran.
That was fun.
And you got second, right?
Yeah, I
crushed
got to play Squires and Chris Bakke and Kellen Foster in them, and that was fun. Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys, looks like, my friend, you are number one in Hand of the Archon. Let's look at
There
this.
he is.
Let's
say it every Tuesday.
let's look at this. Yeah, we like to embarrass our guests here on the Squad Game Podcast.
Find his
So
lowest score.
yeah, his lowest score 69. My guy.
Hey, dude.
Hey.
Even low, it's still funny.
But that wasn't even Hand of the Archon. All right.
Oh,
So
Scouts.
all right, Scouts. All right. Okay, fair.
I was learning.
Fair.
I can forgive that.
Hell yeah. All right,
Hey,
cool.
It's a funny number, right? So we're gonna.
Hell yeah.
Funny, exactly. I laughed.
Is it entirely intentional? Entirely.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, so, today we're going to talk a little bit about, a little bit more about Vet Guard as well, right? I know that I played great matchups into both of you. I definitely think, Giacomo, you just asked about the terrain and I skipped over you completely. So we're going to go back to your question. Yeah. Yeah. Totally ADHD'd on you, my guy. I apologize. Do you guys want to explain the terrain of Salt Lake? Day one was all open, right?
I'll go first for the for like the tables. So they had Chalnath, they had Nakmund, they had Morak. I think I'm saying that right.
Mhm.
And they also, I think they were using the Turning Point Tactics map packs.
The brand new
So-
Turning Point Tactics
Yeah.
3 maps.
So it was a little interesting. And then a couple Octarius, I think mostly Octarius was day one. And then they came with all the awesome rules. So that's interesting. We definitely had to have the conversation like, hey, do the smokestacks work, man?
I was.
Yep.
Yeah,
They do.
yeah,
They do, in fact, work.
good. Because
Mhm.
otherwise,
And-
They're insane.
And the Morok ones, we had to be like, hey, it says if you're on Advantage, you can shoot through these things, and it says like only one model can be up on this little beacon thing. So we had to clear up a few rules beforehand.
Clear up a couple of those. Playing Mandrakes was Chalnath the one where it's all heavy? The
Oh
entire
my
game?
God, how did that
yeah.
go?
That was a struggle, man. I was on the struggle bus for that one. I was like, there's nowhere to hide. That being said, the scout climbing ropes were great because basically the only way you could get up there was teleports, but being able to like hippity hop over.
I don't know if you can
over-
teleport onto Advantage if there's no
Uh,
heavy terrain next to it.
Oh, can you not?
I don't
great.
know.
Then I was safe the whole time. But
all in his
yeah, that was great. So you could like climbing rope
Maybe
up
through
that,
maybe
go
through the
over.
smoke. Maybe you could throw the smoke up there.
Oh, that's it. It's the smoke. You can put the smoke on a vantage point, right? But yeah, I was able to climbing rope over and then just sort of like you roll up to the edge, right? And so it says in the rules when drawing visibility, you can look through your model and your model's base, right?
Mhm.
So you can actually just kind of tippity tip and then look right over the edge and, clack clack with those shotguns or whatever gun you have. So that was really interesting. There was a few ones that caught me for a loop where what were we playing? Octarius, where it was ruled that the space between the little crane, the oil derrick thing, right? You could draw visibility to that. No, for us on that one. It was-
No visibility through it.
yeah, we've always played it where you can see through if you can see it, but it was imagine as though it is filled. So we had to play around that a little bit, but it was it was fun. It was cool, man.
Yeah, it's interesting. Octarius, literally every tournament you go to, you have to ask the TO.
It's a different
Like,
interpretation every
yeah.
time, right?
Sometimes the little pillar, sometimes it's heavy, sometimes it's insignificant, sometimes it doesn't exist. Like,
Yeah, it's crazy. You can shoot through the floors on Octarius. Sometimes you can't.
yeah,
What-
yeah.
what-
It's a little nutty.
Yeah, one thing I love about going to one of the many things, self-like here for squad games tournaments is because you guys run so many ones all over. It's nice having a consistent rules interpretation across many events, right? As opposed to like these little idiosyncrasies here and there, which really can throw or decide a game. You know what I mean? It's nice going like, okay, I'm not going to get God.
Yeah. And also, and another good format is Into the Dark. I know there's a lot of people out there
Oh, love
that
it.
don't
love
like Into the Dark, but Into the Dark is
Insanely
Bread butter,
consistent
baby.
everywhere you go.
super consistent.
Yeah.
Now, not all TOs know the exact rules, and there are some teams that are Giga Chad busted on Into the Dark, but there's also teams that are Giga Chad busted. What is another one? Giga busted, I think is what the kids say
Giga
today. Yeah, Giga. On open, right?
Uber busted.
Uber, there we go.
There we go. I like
Uber
that.
busted.
Or beta decima, right? So it's like
Oh god, yeah.
if you just want to play open, in your terrain, as a TO, like you're only really focusing on those. Into the Dark on these. Day 2 was all Into the Dark, and I think they were all GW layouts.
Yeah.
I definitely think that the Turning Point Tactics maps, even though they have rules for Nakmund, rules for Chalneth, and rules for Morok, I still do not think those terrain sets are competitive. I just think that if those terrain sets are available, this is some of the most competitive types of maps you can do for it.
Totally.
But I do know as well, this event did happen because of community help and community support of terrain, because they are a brand new event that's upcoming, and I really look forward to seeing how they grow and hopefully go back next year. Maybe on my drive up, I won't get in a car accident. I'll pick you guys up and we'll all carpool up and then come
Then
back,
you can get in
right?
a car accident.
Yeah. 5 bodies in the car.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta play with what you got, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think in a perfect world, like, okay, starting some heat, right? In a perfect world, I wouldn't play on any of those competitively. There's like, you can get a little sliver on an Icterius board. It's like suddenly you're in heavy, or you've got the weird stuff going on with Nachmund or something. I wouldn't. But I think getting together supersedes that. You know what I mean? It's like, if you can only play on the best terrain, you're never going to get any opportunities to play. You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
Otherwise, we don't come together.
What terrain do you guys play on?
Yours.
Yeah, we love it. We actually we have some 3D printing maniacs out here, so we actually have like a ton of LVO 3D print stuff.
A couple LVO ones. We've got some of the ones we purchased from you a lot. We love ITV, ton of that.
We have WTC now too.
Yeah, we got a couple of the world team boards, right, with the windows.
Nice.
And then we got some guys who are trying to like custom develop some, but we just
sick.
A combination of yours, WTC, and
so you guys know we're going to be releasing a 3D file for the Luster's Workshop or Squad Games type terrain. And we'll probably have some sort of a subscription thing because like if season 4 or the supposed next edition of Kill Team comes out and things do change, we'll be able to try and update that, and then we'll probably have some sort of it'll probably be on our Patreon, and we'll release maps probably monthly or something like that. So if you guys are interested in that, cool. If not, keep 3D printing. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I love how because we had bought a couple ones from you at God, I can't remember when, maybe right after LVO, but I love the delineation between light and heavy being an actual material delineation. So it's like, this is obviously this, that is obviously that.
Right.
That's mostly what we play. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
We super enjoy it, and even better is like the terrain doesn't have any gotchas. It's like literally how it looks is how it is, and I love it. And the windows, I can't wait for your new terrain too. I saw it at the last tournament that we went to.
We've been playtesting it. Yeah.
Yeah, and they had it there, and I was like, oh my god, windows, let's go. I love it.
we've been toying with the idea of like having the heavy walls next to the little bastions, and having like because some people were like, hey, a model can't fit through this little gap. Then we might just say like, hey, treat it as traversable. You know what I mean? If your base can't go through it, stuff like that. There are some teams that could abuse it, but as everything requires playtesting, might make, Hunter Clade better. Oops.
You're telling me Kinban has a chance. All right, cool.
Yeah, Kinban has a chance. Your terrain makes Kinban crazy, actually.
Yeah, but the stats don't show that. They still suck.
Still, sorry.
Yeah, they're great on Beta Decima.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
There's got to be somewhere in the U.S. that someone's running a Beta Decima tournament. Somewhere.
I think they did it at LSO, and then they had all the narrative terrain and stuff there too. So
okay, so
God bless them.
Somebody
needs to do it.
Yeah, I specifically asked this TO. I was like, "Hey, dude, are you going to run Beta Decima?" And he's like, "Oh, I wish, but no, because it's not competitive." I was like, "Thank God," because I would return my ticket. I'm not going to go to an event that has it, until things change and it becomes competitive. I'm down with not having it there. But yeah, I could go on about that, and I have, but I won't.
I think the one thing that kind of crazy was at the event with the terrain was the smoke. I did not know about the smoke and how it worked.
Yeah, not canceling, not being obscuring, but just no visibility. That was interesting. That was cool to play around.
Yeah,
it's interesting. I actually didn't play on that board. I think there was only 3. I think I did Morok, Chalneth, Octarius.
Yeah, Chalneth. When we talk about our game,
we had a blast on.
It was crazy.
Are you guys using Punishing Vantage?
No.
Thank God.
Thank God.
I'd have been toast, man. I'd
I
have
feel
been
like
in
this game
trouble.
is complicated enough already. You know what I mean?
Yeah. G, do you have any other questions before we talk about some rundowns of some of the games and then talk about some new Vetguard tactics after
Yeah.
their nerfs?
I got a hobby question. So obviously, Dakota, I know we've been talking forever about what you were going to take to
Yeah, I'll
tournament.
try to zoom it in a little bit.
In terms of the board, you can kind of see back there.
It's in focus now.
It's a little more in focus. You can see the hunt right there.
Yeah.
What were the teams like? You know, I'm curious to see what the scene's like over there for Hobbian.
Yeah, they were pretty nice. No display boards, but I think what's interesting, Mike Cortez took a really nice display board to Dallas when I went, and I had a really nicely painted team. I had a tiny little dinky display board, and he got best hobby because of it. So I was like, he inspired me to be like, all right, if hobby is ever a factor for a golden ticket, you win that at home. You win it at home. You can't, you won't lose it if you don't try. Right. So, that's the reason why I went so hard on this, 20-inch display board, 20-something inch display
Yeah,
board.
no kidding. I saw the case for it. Like, what are you hauling in there, man?
Gene Stealers.
Yeah, no kidding.
But
Big
like,
case.
yeah. So I went like as hard as I could. I put my 24 years of experience in the hobby, and I tried to do the best that I could. Right. Because this golden ticket was not only about placement, it was also about hobby and sportsmanship, right? So I definitely tried to bring my A game in all three. I'm typically not an asshole. I'm an asshole on occasion, but not always, right? Definitely did my best on all three. How did you guys approach that as well? Like, I mean, we're talking about the hobby aspect of the tournament from SoCal or Salt Lake.
I ended up bringing. I missed it, so I planned on bringing.
I was blind to it. I couldn't see it. Remember, I'm not supposed to see it.
Okay. When I bring it next time, and you see it for the first time.
Yeah, it's sick. It's sick.
I made a plinth, and I brought it with this. I brought it to Tacoma, and I think somebody took some pictures of it, so I think that's around there. I think it's on Disregarding Dice. There's also
Are those
a bunch
up
of other
yet?
Yeah. He put the Tacoma pictures up.
He's
So.
rocking around, taking them.
Oh
If you got
yeah.
If you got your team pick taken, it's there. But yeah, I brought my plinth there, and I brought it here, so I put it all in a case, brought it with me. I got it somewhere on the shelf over here. I'll keep it a secret so people can see it at the events. But I put like lights in it and stuff, but it's just for my leader. Not nearly as cool as yours. I was like, oh man. It's over. It's so cool.
We'll do a full reveal of it later on, but this is Liam's display.
Hey,
So
there it is.
yeah, I'm not looking at it right now. I'm looking at
invisible. So.
Yeah, it's invisible. No, but you did a fantastic job. Like this plinth and everything about it. Giacomo, you're a hobby aficionado quite as well. So why don't you give us what you think?
I like the contrast of the colors. The white of the model itself is its like focal point, but you have a little bit of break with like the bronze color on the eagle over there, and then the grass itself with a little bit of fire in the corner. So like there's more details to look.
And that fire is electronic.
Yeah, and it's not overpowering, which is nice because I feel like a lot of people overpower displays and models when they use LEDs because now it's taken away from the paint job and it's just like a light over it. So this is well done, and I like the light they use for the photo too. It emphasizes what you're supposed to look at, which is the Sister Superior.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I like it.
I ended
Zach was
up
a really
trying to
good
do.
photographer. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Zach's an amazing photographer. He took this picture as well as the other ones on Disregarding Dice. I was going for the Chalnath, so I painted it as close as I could to Chalnath, and I was like, awesome. And then the candles I did transparent resin. So I had a buddy print some transparent resin, and then I just painted them and left the little candle bit open and put a light up there.
Hell yeah.
It works.
So, funny story about those bases is those flowers. We didn't know we needed to have our stuff based for LVO.
Yeah.
So we ran over to the gamer grass booth and we were like, oh, okay. And I put all these flowers over. And then I think it was you or somebody came by. And you're like,
Yeah,
dude,
yeah.
the flowers are sick, man. I was like, awesome. I just put them on here. Thank God.
It
They
works
kind of just
perfect.
stuck. I think
It
somebody was
does.
I
like,
rolled over
was
there.
it
and
you,
I'm like,
Casey?
man. Yeah, no. I was like, Metal Gear Solid 3, love blooms on a battlefield. You got to get the white flower.
Hell yes.
God.
Yes, dude. I fucking love Metal Gear Solid 3, dude. That was such a sick boss fight.
Dude, when you see all 10 of his models together, it's like, oh, we're back. We're in it.
Mhm.
It's fucking great.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we got the white flowers, man. It's 'cause,
Yeah.
I forgot to base my stuff.
I can't wait to see your full display board for all your models, Liam. I'm excited. I'm excited. You're gonna spend so much money at Gamers Grass.
I'm their number one customer, man.
Casey, did your models get pictures taken here as well on disregardeddice.com?
No, I wasn't comfortable with that because they like I said, I borrowed a friend's. I only have
Okay.
2 painted teams, Comrades and,
That's fair.
and the Archon, which those actually I went for a Neon Genesis Evangelion look, right? They're all like
Mhm.
purple and green and shit. But these the Scout Marines were painted by a guy in our community, James, and he like magnetized them up. I was like, yo, can I try those out? But since they're not mine, I didn't feel comfortable being like,
That's fair.
Take a picture of these,
Yeah, yeah. See, I wish I wish Zach was an our scene dude. Like this dude is he's crazy. I love it. But yeah, I think the hobby there was pretty good. Janice won best painted. Let me see if I can actually find some of my crappy pictures because I don't think he's posted. Nope, I can't on Discord.
I didn't get to play Janice, so I unfortunately
Janice is
were able to. Yeah, I wasn't able to see her models up close. I guess the judging was a secret, so we didn't get to see it quite.
Yeah, she had a really cool leader that was oh my goodness. Why does Messenger want me to put in a pin? I'm just trying to see some old pictures. Sorry.
I know she was wearing all the drip for it too. She had like, she had the Feldor shirt
cards and custom tokens and like, man, they were dripped out.
Oh yeah, she deals with a guy in custom tech of Kill Team. You know.
Oh, okay.
There you go. That's what.
Yeah. We were, like,
She was giving
looking
out
at it.
like poker chips. I'm like, ooh, we're in Vegas. We got to get down on some of that. That's great.
Yeah, we got to get down on that.
Okay, I do have him here in my buddy's chat, so hopefully I don't reveal too much when I do this.
Oh.
Okay, so this was a couple pictures of the display board. You guys, there's a couple videos you guys probably won't hear, but the audience on YouTube will hear it. So I apologize for the podcast beforehand.
Just watch it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, just watch
Get some time.
Oh,
So I took a couple cool dark pictures from the display board. This is Sergeant Johnson with the double power fist hardened veteran sitting up on top of this. Yes, he's a $250 model. Yes, I chopped off his arm to add another power fist because it's way cooler than holding binoculars. Don't ask why it's that expensive. Actually, you can. It was because GW was trying to help stores out from COVID. So let's see if this loads. This was a couple days beforehand, or this was like I was trying to take pictures of it. Up here is kind of like where I put my phone and I put like a custom video that's playing. These are all lights and stuff like that. I put a gene stealer up in the window.
oh my God, I did not see that.
Yeah.
Little guy.
Yeah, a little dude up in here.
I saw the other one.
I got to make sure I'm going. Oh, the other one? What's interesting, I got to make sure I'm going the right direction. So I'm going to go back to here before I reveal other ones. Oh, yeah, I was going the wrong direction. There we go. All right. So I guess we go that way. So, oh, yeah, people on the podcast can't hear this. But if you guys want to see it, you can go to the Discord or you guys can go to the YouTube channel and check it out here. I think we're at the 43-minute mark. So we have a horrible picture here now that I see it so blown up. But this was like the entrance to the metro station. I tried to match all the bases, little concrete things, score them and do lines and stuff like that. These guys are fighting something in the alleyway that you will see shortly. Oh, there it is.
Oh, man.
Gene Stealer up in here with some trash bags around. There's another Gene Stealer climbing one of the walls. We have this is the front of it. It's called the Hunt. The Predator vibes are going off. I have the Predator music going on in the background. As you can see, I love hand axes, so I modeled a bunch of my normal dudes with hand axes. I have the Master Chief. Speaking of Master Chief, there is a video coming up with Master Chief and me painting Master Chief. And if you guys want to see how a color blind man paints green, you should check it out. This is the other entrance to the other way, and then Master Chief. So, yeah.
Master Chief kicked my ass.
Master Chief does that, I think the only guy that actually just like straight murdered him was Mike's Phobos Marines. And I was like, you killed Master Chief. What the hell, dude? And he was like, I was like, well, a Space Marine could easily do that, I think you also killed him, Casey. Yeah. I see you thinking about it. Yeah, your sniper murdered the shit out of Master Chief, like murdered him. But then I did Only in Death and I shot the guy off the back point. So
yeah, that was good.
Yeah. No, but
I wake up sweating thinking about Only in Death. I'm like, not again, and no.
Yeah, we'll get into the strategy about Only in Death because I think without Only in Death, I think this team would be awful. I don't think that this team would have would be able to live up to what it can because it forces you to be able to trade well. And I did say that this team was like B tier, but I don't necessarily agree with that anymore. I think
that's true at all.
I think that this team is definitely still at least an A tier after some new tips and tricks that I will tell everyone about here. But yeah, before we go on, G, did you have any other questions about Utah?
No, I think I'm all set. I mean, outside of like the regular, what could you eat around the place? Like, what was the venue like?
It was cool.
Hot.
Yeah, and cool in the sense it looked
for
cool.
us, dude. We just came from Vegas. We were like, this is nice. It's a nice 102 out, man. This is great.
So it was really nice, and then it kind of got hot because we were all playing on the second floor, and heat rose. So, and I was wearing leg prisons on day one.
Yeah, so they had Shatterpoint downstairs, and I guess Shatterpoint was only doing one day, and then they had everything Warhammer upstairs, and we were in the corner getting choked out by the heat.
650 people. So congratulations to Salt Lake. Yeah, it was crazy.
Whoa.
Yeah, and I think Old World was there, AOS, 40K, and Kill Team were all upstairs, and I think I just saw a bunch of like X-Wing and Shatterpoint.
For just
Rip to X-Wing.
Fooled me. That was popular.
Yeah. So, Liam, did you have a favorite match of the entire event?
I think it's no secret here. I was really hoping to get that mirror match, and I got it in. So I got lucky, and day two, the pairings worked out where everybody was kind of even for the most part, and I ended up getting Zach, and we talked about it, and we were like, all right, man, this is it. He wanted to double check. He was definitely concerned about hey, what does it say about Acts of Faith? I was like, hey, man, quick. Only one of us gets to do it. So just get ready for this. Buckle up, baby. This is about to be the most cagey match you ever played in your life. It was super, super cool.
You were explaining, right? Like you can only do for the Act of Faith, it's one per activation. That applies to both players, right? Like
yeah,
you were saying,
enemy or friendly.
Each other out.
Yeah, enemy or friendly. It says, hey, you can only do one Act of Faith. So that means the only thing after you say Blinding Faith, change the hit to a crit, that's it. All you can do is reroll dice. So it really makes the faith point mechanic okay, who's going first? And you got to do something, otherwise the other person just gets it in. So we ended up having a crazy close match on Into the Dark, and we theory crafted some stuff we ended up finding that the duelist is not useless.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So apparently, if you're mirror matching novitiates, you take the duelist because she hits on 2s, 3, 4, and when she sends the crit through, when she parries, she sends the crit damage through too. So against novitiates, like 3, 4 is totally enough. That's scary already. So
Yeah,
good.
that'll murder some people for sure.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if that works
Yeah,
out.
and he played a clean game. I ended up. I honestly, I tried to outplay him there, and I think he beat me by 1.
Hey, you still won the war, right?
Yeah, we won the war. We ended up going talking about it later, and it's just like the penitent is super scary against novitiates, and even crazier is like, do you take melee horde? Like, do you melee horde your team into the other novitiate player? Because like you're both bad at fighting, but who cares, right? If you're fighting first, you're good.
Right, you're gonna generally gonna win that.
Generally, yeah. So it ended up being like that for the most time. It's like, all right, man, I'm gonna go on guard here. Hopefully, I get the hit in. Hopefully, I get it. I think he turning point 1. I was gonna super crack his flamer, and he put him on guard. And I was like, all right, man, I don't know what the math is here, but it's pretty bad. But if I kill your flamer in turning point 1, that's awesome. So I went for it, and he rolled 3 crits and 2 hits. So I was just like,
could you not blinding aura?
No, the penitent was on engage.
Ah.
I was trying to get the flamer out early, and if she survives, she's just going to dash out of the door.
Right.
She didn't. You turned me into a marshmallow, man. That
you can take a max of 2 flamethrowers, right, when the vitiates?
Yeah, so the flamethrowers aren't the pushover flamethrowers. They're not the 2-2 flamethrowers, 2-3.
Right, you get the 3-3 ones, right?
Oh, no, the 2-3s, but you can bump them to 3-4. So,
to 3-4, yeah.
Disgusting.
Which is incredible.
Yeah. Almost as cool as Volgar Thrice Curse, but there's only one Volgar Thrice Curse, and there's 2 of those Ministorum crazy ass flamers.
Inferno.
Yeah.
Which Inferno's not crazy, but the other person goes, "Hey man, we got to roll for that later. I know you're on 2 wounds, baby. You ready for that?
Die.
Hey, you might. It could happen. It could." And they go,
yeah.
I've only killed 1 person with it, so people out there sweating, don't worry about it. It's less than useful.
That's awesome.
That was my favorite one.
Uh-huh.
Casey, do you have one?
Oh yeah. Oh god. Zach was really fun. That was a great game. Probably Janice, actually. I was going to say Robert. Robert was great. Playing into Maze Mandrakes. He's just a cool guy.
Robert's a legend, bro. We can't vote for Robert because he'd win it every time.
Yeah, I know. and he's strong and handsome. Anyway,
he is.
What a gentleman.
Another thing about it, so we had a flight to catch, right? So we actually were not. There's no way we could play a full round for like the final round of the day. I got matched with Janice. I'm like, Janice, look, I'm so sorry. I got to be on a plane in like an hour from now, or I'm like boarding one, right? So we got to go, and we just sped through it, and it was so fun. So like in the first activation, I was first turn, I was setting up for move up with the tracker, put the track target down on the on one of the goats who's like securing the point behind the little conceal or behind the barricade, and then I'd move up with another guy and either 6-inch grenade chuck or blast him with a shotgun. We'll see, right? You want to do that thing where you get them to like 4 or 3 wounds, depending on if you have a fist or knife guy there, so that they activate, come over, and you bop them in the nose like a shark, right?
Mm-hmm.
They frenzy and then like immediately die. And I'm setting up for that.
That is typically how you play. That's how you typically want to play into Felgor, 100%.
Yeah. So I've got a couple activations left. I've got Shoddy on guard. Janice plays the extra inch of moves so she could get the charge off, come in. I'm thinking, okay, right, Overwatch, I'm hitting on 3s. That's okay. I got, all these rerolls going on, 4/4 damage. I can probably blast this guy down to 2, right? And then he's going to hit me once, and then I'll pop. After, I want to say 2 rerolls, I was sitting on 3 crits and a miss, right? I was like, man, this is hot. This is great. Janice, like the hand of God, just rolls it in there. 3 crit saves. I was
Oh!
best game. All right, let's do it. And so and then that blocked off the play that I was setting up. And so from there, I'm just sweating, going around trying to push guys around. Did all right on the primary, considering I was just getting devoured by goats. But secondaries, all of my secondaries involved being on Janice's side of the board, which I was not going to get to at that point. That was just super fun. We were having a sweaty, wild time. You throw it out, it's just, all ones, and, God, it was great. It's a great game.
Good. My favorite was against Casey. If I can't, I'm not going to vote Robert, okay, because he would just win it every time. Mainly because that's the game where I had to do the most mental math and mental chess, which I'll get into in a second. I'll probably go in order real quick. Janice was a really fortuitous matchup for me. That was the first game, and I played her, and we drew Morok on open, and it was loot. So it really helped that not only is loot the worst one for goats, right? Because they have to have bodies, they have to have little clickers, clicking things. But also, like against Vetguard, who has GA2, I threaten to take away points every round, right? With a GA2, I could move 2 models to a point and click your point. Like if you have a dude on it, like there's so many things that Vetguard can do. And so like it really forced her to be probably more aggressive than she wanted to be. I think I had like 6 or 7 goats frenzied at the end of round turning point 2. I think it was 6. So it was a really uphill. Then she traded back really well, but in the end it was too much to overcome. And then I played. Let me make sure. I want to make sure I get everyone's names right. And then I played Liam on Chalmouth, and I won the roll off. And there was a weird objective placement where I was like, I asked the TO, I was like, hey, is that supposed to be touchable from that side of the building? And he said no. So I was like, okay, I'm taking the other side because I'm not going to run around into a building to score a point. That was secure. And I prayed to the Emperor, and I rolled really, really well. You did not pray to the Emperor. The Emperor protects my guy, right?
He didn't protect me.
Because you didn't pray, my guy. Yeah, Squad Games protects.
I protected him. I got toasted, man. I was not ready for the heat.
Yeah, it was crazy. The very first activation, he charged a crack grenade like trooper, killed him, threw a frag grenade at my confidant and my plasma. And I was like, oh God, here we go. And whiffed. Everything he did do damage wise, I think he only did like 2 damage to the plasma, and I saved everything on the confidant. And then he was just sitting there.
She did great. She's my number one hero.
And then the cool thing about his side of the board though was that he could fly dash his concealed. What is that girl called? I don't remember any of the names of novitiate.
The crossbow lady.
Yeah. Ran up and shot the demo with her crossbow bolt, and I was like, oh, here we go. Yep, he lived on 2 wounds. So then he went up and killed the novitiate, and then he stole some points later on because he just wouldn't die like a little rat.
He lived the whole game.
He did
the whole game.
He lived most games. It's kind of disgusting.
That's actually surprising.
Once the demo goes out, everyone's like, oh, he's no longer a threat. He's just a guy. And I'm like, yeah. Just wait till you hear what I did to the Nemesis Call player with him.
You know what's crazy though? That demo charge that you rolled, the guy was wounded. I was like, oh, what do you hit on? He's like, oh, 4. So I was like, hey man, I got a chance. And he rolled. I think you rolled all 5 hits, right? It just like
it hits on 2s. Yeah, it was AP.
Yeah. I was like, oh, surely it hits on 4s. He's like, oh yeah, no, it's really good actually. It just evaporated this poor militant on the point. This pink misted this thing.
Yeah, it was the demo is still really good, everyone. You just have to know when to use it. Yeah, so that one went in my favor. I was able to punch back pretty hard on Liam's, and I was able to stop him from scoring or maxing, I think, recover item, But you might have maxed it in the end.
I think I did, but barely. Like, I was just hanging on. The deployment was rough.
I kept putting a hand axe trooper just right on top of his recover item. I was like, come at it, guy. Come at it.
I wanted to so bad. It was just like, it's just like a hand axe is scary.
It is.
A 7-wound model. You're like, oh yeah, sure. I guess to everybody else, but the novitiate's like, that's the boogeyman, man. Like,
especially when you spend 1 for clear the line every round, which is auto retain 1. It is busted. Yeah. Then I ended up playing Michael, and he had this amazing play. We were playing. He was playing off the back foot. He was like, hey, I'm really going to try something. I got to be aggressive. Be aggressive. You don't be aggressive in the Vanguard. You just don't. He's like, if I'm not aggressive, I'm going to lose anyway. So I'm going to go for it. We were playing capture. He moved a model out onto a point. He threw a smoke grenade, and he was like, all right, I gotta get first turning point, because then I'll move up and kill your plasma. And I was like, okay. He didn't get first turn. Plasma killed the guy, and he was like, oh, that's not good. And then he moved up, and he did this really cool thing where he was able to kill like a model or 2 models on this point that I stopped him from getting. And then he put out, I was going to move out and demo him and kill 2 of his Marines that were next to each other. And he had like a track target. So like if the demo man moved out, he was going to get shot. They were in smoke, all this other kind of stuff. So I was like, okay, I'm going to move my grenade launcher through your booby mine. And he was like, cool. I was like, do you want to track target? He said, no. So I was like, all right. So then I had to like really do this really cagey move. So like every end of movement activation, he could not shoot him with the track target. Planted the mine. I could only hit 1 Marine. Or was it? Oh, I think did I hit both? I think I might have only hit 1. I don't remember. I was able to kill 1 Marine, didn't kill the other. And then I think I charged with like a hand axe, and then he lost 3 by then. And it was just, it was a really uphill battle. But to be honest, against most elite players, Vanguard is like one of the few teams that is like the absolute nightmare. Them, Kasserkin, and Pathfinders. And then I ended up fighting Brad with the Nemesis Claw, and he did not know that Vanguard could go through 2 doors with the demo man. And I blew it up, hit 2 Nemesis Claw, killed 1, got 1 down to 2, 1 first turning point, and I did clear the line with my demo man, charged him, and auto retained 1 for 2 and killed the other one. So he lost 2 at the beginning of turning point 2, and it was also an uphill struggle there. And then I fought Casey, this brain master over here with scouts. I was like, no, dude, the first time I played scouts was last weekend. I played him against Jeshua, beat the pants off of me, right? But I learned like a Saiyan, right? Oh, I get beat up and I come back stronger. The next day I played Kellen for his jersey for the event that we were at. If you beat somebody, you got their jersey, right? For Team America. And I was able to beat him on loot. I beat him pretty handily. And then, so I was pretty confident. I was like, oh, I know some stuff in the scouts. We're playing on Into the Dark. And Casey was like, yo, dude, I took all smokes. I didn't take any knives. And I was like, what do you mean? I was like, all right. So he made it extremely difficult for me. Yeah. So, really, really difficult. And, he even stopped my demo man. I think I hit 1. I didn't even kill him. Right.
No, you did. You were able to finish him off, but
okay.
You got 1 instead of 3. So
yeah, this guy, he played it so well. He was able to move his guy over, so I couldn't get around. I was trying to be sweaty with the demo man, couldn't get the sweat off. It was good. It was really good.
It was interesting with the you did the GA2 confidant activation, right?
Yep.
So you got me with the what it was called, Only in Death or something, where you stick around,
Death
right?
Atonement? Yeah.
So you stick around, but then I had the booby trap there, right? And so the first guy set it off, stops his movement, but then that is technically an activation, right? So
Yep.
that Only Death ends, so not able
So
to the move past engagement thing.
Yep.
I want to know where. So I felt like the game really shifted in end of turn 2, beginning of turn 3, because I feel like I was holding you up pretty good. I think my two major misplays were on my right flank, your left flank. I was not aggressive enough on turn 2.
Agreed.
I by holding that in check, I didn't have enough momentum for turn 3 and 4, right? Like we were able to do some stuff, but not enough stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought I had you a little bit with the play with using the 6-inch threat of the shotgun on guard to deny your melt and plasma pistol, and then keeping the sniper in conceal, walking up, going within 1 inch of the door to open it, but still touching the shotgun guy. So I get concealed and then popping your leader. But I was looking at that room at the beginning of turn 3, like,
dude, I had like 6 Vedguard in that model in that room.
I was like, I know that something is happening and it's going to be bad, but I don't see it. So where was the shift there?
Okay.
Because I thought that flank was like crumbling, and then I don't know where you did it, but you did something.
So it was interesting. So when we were playing, I kind of had this Rain Man moment where we went 3-3 on turn 1, 3-3 on turn 2, and I realized with how his models were placed, where my models were placed, there was no way I was going to max my secondaries. I wasn't going to be able to get central control. He had too many shotgun guys in there. And I think at the end of turning point 2, in order to stop me from getting it, you literally just threw a smoke grenade into the middle of the room, ran into it, and stood on like central line. So I was like, my gosh, like I can't even score like my secondaries because it's too hard to remove these guys. And I was like, all right, so the only way I'm going to beat Casey is if I beat him on primaries. How can I do that? He has 3 scouts on this side of the board. He has a bunch on this side of the board. So I came up with a little plan to be like, okay, so if he doesn't tap his points right away, I'm going to try and steal his points. I think my first activation, I tapped 2 points with a GA2. And then I don't remember that one 100%.
You tapped the right and left flank. You left the middle open.
Yeah.
But there was 2 guys on it, so there was no danger of me grabbing it immediately, right?
Yeah.
I had one guy who could immediately threaten, and then one guy who could get there but not tap.
Yeah. So the next activation.
I understand your right flank. Explain that one.
So on the right flank, I had the plasma in the middle. I had my comms. I gave my guy a +1 AP, and then Casey, I gave the plasma. I gave the plasma +1 APL, and Casey was like, "What the fuck is he going to do with the plasma?"
I was like, "Okay, he's going to do the shot. I've got this smoke ready, and then my other guy who you could have gotten within 2, no, not within 2. The guy who you could have popped was on super conceal, so he wasn't going to get flipped by the spotter. I had smokes on the other guys. I'm like, what is the shot? I don't know where the shot is going to go. Not a goddamn shot in sight.
It wasn't a shot.
My point.
Yeah. So Casey ended up opening up the door, fighting my spotter. Didn't kill the spotter, which was crucial, because if he did that, he was going to be able to then shoot with the heavy bolter, right? And the auto retain really came in handy there, because I was able to like block out one of them, so he just didn't die. And then I think you used your sniper to then kill my leader, which forced me to use Only in Death right away. And then I moved up and I shot your back point guy, so you couldn't tap that one. And you already activated everyone on that side of the board, so I pretty much guaranteed that you were going to go 2-1. In your next activation, I think you charged my point to kill the guy so that I couldn't tap my middle point. And I used my plasma to then sneak around 9 inches and tap his back point and sacrifice the plasma to go. I was now 3-1.
Yeah.
And then I I moved my spotter back off of his model, killed him with the sniper, and then I was able to charge the demo around through onto this back point,
No,
attacking.
at that point, right?
Nope, the demo never died.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
thank
yeah,
you.
that's right. That's right. You chose not to run when you saw you were only going to get one. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
So I charged back and I tapped his back point. So we went 4-1, which was a huge swing, and then he was able to be really aggressive on my left side. I couldn't tap it, and I just started switching over, and we went, I think, 3-2. And because of the primaries, I was able to swing it back into my favor rather than a stalemate. And then with recon, he could just max and crush me.
Yeah, we tied on secondaries, right? And then I think, right? Yeah, because we denied center line on that last turn, right?
Yep. And I didn't score any for central control, which is, it's interesting about Vedguard when I go over them in a second. You'll hear my thoughts on what I think about secondary. Well, I still think it's the hardest thing to do. If done right, they can be scored. Finally, I played Robert. Mandrakes, I'm relatively confident into that matchup because Vetguard, especially in Into the Dark, can kind of look everywhere, so you can't teleport anywhere. So I just tried to negate as much as that as I could. And his first activation, he charged up. I took 5 hand axes and a rosary in that, or 4 hand axes and a rosary in that matchup. No grenades whatsoever. I was just like, as the tournament went on, I was like, hey, fuck grenades. Just go more hand axes, more, you know? So like, and then whenever a Mandrake would charge, if I auto retain 1 from clear the line. And if I roll a crit, then now I have 8 damage coming to them, but typically they're going to kill you at 1. So you do 3 and now they only have 5 health, or you crit them and now they only have 3 health. And then you charge with a different hand axe and the Mandrake's auto dead, don't even have to roll. It's disgusting. It's retarded. And then same thing with the Hardened. The Hardened does 4-5 damage. So you auto retain 1, you do half damage. They strike you, you rosary, and then you punch them again and they're dead, pretty shitty. But I was able to clean up Robert. But Robert and me played at Dallas, and it was not nearly as close as this matchup. This matchup I think was 21-18. He played way better, was able to make me sweat a lot. But I only in-deathed him a couple times too, so he couldn't get into a room because I would move a model up, he'd kill him with the leader, I'd say only in death. His leader can't get out of combat, or can't get into the room, and then at the end of the turn, I would move up another model. At the beginning of the next turn, he'd kill him with another model, and I'd do only in death again. He just couldn't get in there because I would just throw bodies at it, and I was like, okay, move another guy. Okay, you're gonna kill him too. Okay, it was like, it was ridiculous. So going into the vet guard, and then I ended up getting the golden ticket, which was cool, very exciting.
Yeah.
My wife told me in June, she was like, hey, I want you to get a golden ticket. And I was like, are you serious? Like, I've been telling her this whole time, I don't want one. I don't really need one, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, oh, you do all this stuff for Kill Team. I think you should try. So I felt like this meme where like Sparta, like this is Sparta when he like looks back at his wife before he kicks him down the well, I felt like I went into that moment, where I was like, should I? And she's like, I'm like, this is Squad Games,
I went down that well, man.
Sorry. Blame my wife. Blame my wife when you see her.
Listen, you do a lot for Kill Team. It's time Kill Team did some for you, man. It's all
Hey,
Yeah,
appreciate you.
you go.
Appreciate you. So it was a cool event. I had a lot of fun, and for the past 2 weeks, I've been doing nothing but playing and theorizing about Vetguard, and I think there's 2 objectively good ways to play them, and we'll get into those here. So with the Vetguard, unless you guys have anything else you guys want to talk about before we do this dive real quick.
hit us with the knowledge, Gavin.
All right.
Gotta give that demo dude a medal or something, man. He's like the MVP. I gotta kill that dude if I see him in the streets, man.
Yeah, and I have mine is the Sly Marbo, and I cut off his like pistol, and I gave him a Kasserkin mine. It's
perfect.
Yeah, it's cool. Sly Marbo. Got to have some kind of heroes where we can. So if you guys are looking to learn how to play Vet Guard, this is going to be a great little spot. We're going to touch on a lot of things here, and then we might come up with a much more in-depth video with like diagrams, maybe a live showing where models go and how to place them on a board. But we'll kind of give like more of an audio / if you're watching the YouTube video, you will see a veteran guard here on screen, and we can talk about them. But if you're going to play them competitively, you always take the 4 ancillary support extra models. If you want to do anything else, or you want to bring just 10 models, you play Kasserkin. This team requires 14 models to play competitively. And if you don't think so, the Emperor is not for you. Okay. All right. So you take the Sergeant with the plasma pistol and power weapon. In fact, when I was first playing this team, I used to take the chainsword and bolt pistol because I really liked the model. I didn't think like it was that big of a deal to have the power pistol, the plasma pistol power sword, but it is huge. The leader is objectively now the best model on the team. And then I would say it's the hardened. And then I would probably say it's the Melta Plasma Sniper, all in the same category than the demo after that. Or maybe the demo even still comes before that. But I think I used to say the Spotter was the best model on the team. But now the Spotter's one of the worst next to the Medic. I think the Medic is absolute garbage tier.
Even as a flex on Into the Dark?
Really?
Yeah. I will give my reasonings about Medic and why I think that now. I haven't taken the Medic since Dallas. I took him when I went to Dallas. I played the Medic once against Pathfinders and I lost.
Oh no, you were just sorry. You were saying this. You thought the Spotter was the worst, and I was like, the threat for him that you had
project.
Yeah, the threat that you project on Into the Dark, I thought was pretty good.
So he. The Spotter is objectively way, way better on Into the Dark. Yeah. On open, especially on Chalmeth terrain, I have to look like a random direction to, is
insane.
Like it wasn't that good, but he put both of his barricades right next to each other, right? Like on 2 objectives that I could see. So because of that, I was able to then put the Spotter and to be able to flip light terrain so I could threaten that area. But if I didn't have that, the Spotter just would have been an action monkey and running around doing stuff, especially on Chalmeth. I still take the Spotter pretty much every time, but sometimes I think that I might drop him for the Flamer. So we go the Sergeant with the plasma pistol power sword, and pretty much I take the exact same loadout every time. And I think the only time you take the Flamer is against like Gellerpox or something like that, where you're trying to flip light, flipping light terrain is not useful. Into the Dark, you're always going to take them anyways, because you're going to look down a hallway, or you're going to open a door, and you're going to look from your backfield looking at one. And sometimes you can just put a barricade right in front of him and the sniper, like way in your backfield, and just look at where one of their barricades are. And it's like, hey, if you get behind your barricade, I'm going to shoot you with a sniper rifle. Do you want to do that? No? Okay. Typically, the Spotter, especially against mandrakes, it's really good. You just keep them in the backfield and you just have vision across your entire backfield. It's really difficult because that model can just sit there. If you do something wrong, then I guess I'll bombard. But, the Confident is amazing. I always take him with the bolt pistol and chainsword. I rarely ever take him with the bolt gun. There might be a few situations where you might want to. The Zealot, a lot of people have said, I've theory crafted a few things. I just haven't been able to fit him into the team. I think the Zealot with a hand axe is really good because you could give the Zealot a hand axe, charge him into somebody, and then you could charge a GA2 model into them, and now you're critting on 5s with a hand axe, auto retain 1, hit on 5s, crit on 5s.
Nice.
It's a little disgusting, right? I think there's definitely play for Zealot, but I don't play the Zealot. I also never play the medic anymore, and let me explain why I don't take the medic. The medic used to be one of the most useful tools on the team because the spotter was way better. So the spotter could flip heavy. So that objectively makes all of your gunners and your sniper a million times better. You could flip heavy, so it's so important to keep your spotter alive. It's like super important because so many people will just misposition a model. You can see something, now you're going to shoot them, that kind of stuff. But now that the spotter can't do that, the medic loses so much agency because now you don't have to put the spotter and the sniper up on a vantage. You can just put the sniper on the vantage. And then you can put your spotter near your plasma or near your frag grenade, your gunner with the grenade launcher. In fact, I think the grenade launcher is one of the worst gunners in the game for them. I'll explain why. He just sucks. Next is the comms. The comms is amazing. Most of the time you're giving demo your +1 or your leader. Sometimes you can give it to the Harden if you give your Harden the crack grenade as well. So then your Harden could charge somebody, beat somebody up with his 4 or 5 damage, and then throw a crack grenade and then live. The comms has a lot of possibilities. You could also give it to a plasma, so the plasma could run around and steal someone's point away from them, right?
Works.
The comms is probably like your knight if this was like a chess game, like your most like versatile piece. Bruiser, never take him. Don't even think about him. He doesn't exist. Don't do it. If you think about it, you're wrong. Don't do it. He's trash. Your Hardened Veteran is probably one of the best models on the team because you give him a rosary and they're just so hard to remove. He has a 5-up feel no pain. I can't tell you how many times sometimes you make none. Against Rob, he shot me one time and I failed all. He did 7 damage, failed all 7. Cool. He died. But like other times I was like, roll 10, I made 7. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Sometimes it happens, right? Because dice will be dice. Like sometimes people like to blame their dice, but a lot of times, if you have a bad dice game, you're going to have a good dice game some other time, right? The point is to play kill teams so that dice are no longer a factor, right?
The 5-up feel no pain is just insane on a lot of models. Casey, do your models have 5-up feel no pains for anti-Archon?
6-up, and it's less about like it's not to save them. It's more to like throw off the breakpoints, so like other people just start getting tilted when they don't have like the guaranteed kill.
Yeah, I would be tilted too if Vekar lived.
Yeah. The sniper is amazing model as well. You can put him up on a vantage. You can do the fly dash plus the barricade if you take the extra equipment point. But like sometimes the sniper is just as good as the plasma. Like you can put them on engage, you can run up, and you might just kill something. It's like I'm gonna run up 7 inches with move, and I'm gonna hit on 2s, and I'm gonna do 9 mortal wounds to your Phobos Marine, and you're like, well, okay, I'll just remove him. Thanks. Like the sniper can do that. So you don't always have to play with a sniper in the sniper nest. He basically has a crazy little gun as well. And then you have the spotter. The spotter can still be used effectively, but typically you're only looking at light terrain. You're looking at barricades. You're looking to pair him with your grenade launcher into like Gellerpox or Horde teams, or you're looking to pair him with plasma into most other teams now instead of the sniper. Sometimes you can still use the sniper. In fact, it's still the one I typically do with him because the sniper can still just flip to engage and go and tap a point. Like every model here is expendable. Every single one. Your leader, everyone, right? If your models aren't dying, you're not playing them right. And then your gunners, I love the Melt-A-Gun. It's such a good defensive piece and offensive piece. It's a great way to use only in death as well, or a death atonement or whatever it's called. Your plasma gun, Your flamer's good. The grenade launcher I hate because it never rolls good. I think I've had it roll good one time, but it's a really good thing that people are going to think about. They're going to think that it has a crack grenade, right? Even if it hits on 4s, they still think it's a crack grenade. So they're going to be scared of it. Or it has a frag grenade. So it's still a useful piece a lot of the times. I think we go to the orders. I love move more than anything else. I'm going to move this up here. Look at that. Oh, that's cool.
Hey, there you go.
So the ads from Wahapedia don't get on here. Move is a great thing. A lot of times I will take it, especially on Into the Dark. It's the guaranteed way to get through 2 doors while having your demo man. Heaven forbid it. You know the little rooms that have like 2 squares in between each other and there's 2 doors? Well, you can get the demo through there and blow up the other side, right? It does take a couple times, but heaven forbid the enemy opens that door up, and then you can just use your confidant to group activate with your dude. Then you both move up. Your confidant can stay behind at that point. Demo man just moves up, kills 1, 2, 3 models behind the door, and he's like, wow, didn't see that coming. Or you just out-activate them, use a GA2 model to open the door, and then your last activation, you use your confidant and your demo man with 3 APL. Confidant moves up to 7 inches, opens the door. Demo man moves up 7 inches. You sacrifice the confidant, and you jump backwards, and you blow it up, and you kill 2, 3 models as well. People just don't see it coming. It's disgusting. But you can only do that if you have move. You have to have the extra inch. So sometimes I'll use move, and I'll do it again on turning point 2 if I don't get it off. But the cool thing is that some of their attack ploys a little later, you can still get take aim. You can still get other things that I've never done before until this tournament. Hold position, never used it. Nope, never used it. I don't even care what it is. Fixed bayonets, I always call fight. Take aim, I always call shoot. It's easy for me to remember. Shoot is, or take aim is, you get a reroll dice of 1. Your comms usually shouts it out to the rest of your team. Fixed bayonets, you're rerolling 1s. If you think you're going to get charged by a bunch of mandrakes, it's a great thing to take. You think you're going to get charged by a bunch of goats, it's a great thing to take. The abilities are really, really good. Moving to strategic ploys, there's 2 ways I think to play veteran guardsmen right now. I think you go 5 hot shot las guns. You screw grenades. Grenades suck. I hate them. I don't use them anymore. I never will. Like maybe into novitiates, I'll take one, and I'll try to get around blinding aura, right? Or into elites, I'll take a crack grenade or something like that, or somebody who has 10 wounds, maybe scouts. But most of the time, I'm not going to take grenades that much. Maybe I'll take one just for the threat, but that's besides the point. Overcharged las guns, you can take with your equipment points. You can give yourself 5 hot capacitor las gun packs. If you stay back, you can shoot a bunch and do a bunch of damage. That's not how I play Veteran Guard, because I play Veteran Guard like a Giga Chad, right? I don't play them like these little Pathfinder homies, right? I come out there, I come to hit people with axes because that's cooler. Take cover, never used it. Don't care. Into the Breach, I use it all the time. The times that I will not use Into the Breach is into Felgor, into some other teams like Mandrakes. They can just charge you turning point 1, right? But I use Clear the Line almost every single turn outside of turning point 1. There was one time I used it turning point 1. I was like, okay, I'm going to do move for all my models. Robert was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I was like, okay. I was like, I'm going to do Into the Breach. I moved everyone up, and he was like, I'm going to do this. I was like, okay, I'm going to pass. And he was like, I'm going to do Charge from Conceal. I was like, I'm going to do Clear the Line. And then he's like, I'm going to pass. Because I knew that he was looking at something to charge me with. Anytime that any of your models are going to get in close combat, you want to take Clear the Line. If you don't have to roll a dice, your dice cannot fail you. It's that simple. If you don't have to roll and you're going to get a hit in a dice rolling game is broken. It's broken, you know? Especially if you have a bunch of hand axes, right? I take between 3 and 4 hand axes every single game, except in Scouts. I think I took one. I think I took a crack grenade,
Yep.
a hand axe,
The rosary.
Yep. Is that
I
9?
don't think you want to fight scouts at all, so that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean,
shoot them as best you can.
any kind of damage that you can do to though, like, because no matter what, you're going to get charged, right? No matter what, you're always going to get charged against scouts or something like that. So 2 damage, 3 damage, any kind of chip damage that you can guarantee is great, right? Like you can, if your model's dying, make sure that they can guarantee damage back, right? Because it just helps with breakpoints, right? So I took clear the line this tournament every single round outside of turning point 1. Yeah. I would always make sure I did that. I had enough for that, and I had enough for only in death, right? So I really rarely ever rolled re-rolls. I think the only time I did was against Brad, and I think I whiffed 3 dice on my Melta, and I was like, I really need to kill his Nemesis Claw leader, and I rolled 3 more, and I missed them all again. You know? Yeah. Tactical ploys, inspirational leadership. I did use that quite a few times. What that means is that anytime during your leader's activation, you can shout out orders of a specific order to everyone. So if your leader's going to charge in at the end of his charge or at the beginning of his charge, he might yell out, fight, 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 or, you know, affix bayonets. So you get a reroll 1s, you know, pretty good. Maybe before he charges off on a suicide mission with +1 APL to fight, kill somebody, shoot somebody with a plasma, then die, maybe he shouts out, shoot, shoot, shoot. So whoever comes up and kills him, you know, they can turn around and reroll 1s into the next model, right? It's a very good ploy. I don't use it all the time, but it is useful, especially when your leader is gonna go kill himself or herself. Death and Atonement is the only in death ploy that we keep talking about. This is the biggest ploy of knowing when to use it. Yeah. Right? Typically, I will use it on a model that I know needs to die or is going to die, that I can trade for a point, or I need to hold a model in close combat. That's the best time to use it. I'll also use it on like the leader or the Meltagun or something like that. So that, so that is very strong. Combined Arms is really good as well. Combined Arms is you get to reroll a bunch of dice. If you miss dice, you know, if you've already shot a model, you can shoot them again. And if you roll all 2s, you get to roll them all again. Tac Ops, the only one that's worthwhile, I think, is Stand Fast. Is that the one? Hold 2, hold more at the end of any turning point. Yeah, when you hold 2 objective markers and you hold more, you score 1. I take that pretty much every time, every game. It's really good. Boots on the Ground is awful. Glory and Death, you take it into Custodes. That's it. Like literally, that's it. I don't think that you take it anywhere else. Maybe Intercession, but yeah. Equipment is really not that interesting. You're either going to play a really shooty horde and you're going to take a bunch of hot capacitors, las packs. Always take the rosary on either the leader or the hardened veteran, and I always take it on the hardened veteran. The leader's a great opportunity as well. That's how True tied me and beat me at Nova last year. You know, sometimes you need that extra dice not to go through. It's a great choice there, but I prefer the hardened veteran because it just makes the hardened veteran so much more of a threat, because you know that 2 models are probably, at least 2 are going to have to come up and attack it to kill it, right? Hand axes, like I said, is ridiculous. 3 attacks, hitting on 4s, 3/5 damage. With Clear the Line, you're auto hitting for 3 damage. Auto. Heaven forbid you roll a crit. Now you hit for 5. And if they can't kill you in 2 hits, you're doing 8. Right? Or you're doing 6. It is ridiculous. And if they can't kill you in 2 hits, you're doing 9, right? Or you're doing 11. You know, it's insane. Or heaven forbid you rolled 2 crits. You know, it's a great thing. It's a great tool to use, especially if you play a guard team where you're trying to be more aggressive. Typically, I'll put 2 hand axes on 2 of my ancillary support, which are, I throw up 2 models strategically to take points. And I try to keep everyone else back. I'll use my other 2 operatives as backups so they can either go up next turning point and threaten again or charge if my other models get charged. Sometimes I'll put them both on one side. My other hand axes, I'll typically put on the spotter. I'll put on a comms. I've been thinking about putting it on the demo. I'm not going to lie. The demo's been crazy lately. Because after he blows his load, you know, he can still then go and kill somebody, you know?
Yeah, and he's so forward positioned at that point. Like,
yeah.
People want to come at him. I think that's a good one.
Plus in Death Atonement, too, with that hand axe on the demo, like, oh my God.
Well, you cannot use melee attacks when you're dead, right? But if somebody's playing a melee team and they have to come and kill him after that and they have to come and melee him to kill him, then you're doing another 3 damage afterwards, right? So they're like, oh, or 5 damage. Heaven forbid, 8 damage.
Any when they're supposed to be dead, it's bad.
Yeah. So Trench Shovel is good. I've used it on occasion on Into the Dark when I don't want to have to pay for a secondary scouting option, or if I want to use flip and dash, sometimes I'll use a shovel on Into the Dark. Then somebody just can't move. So a shovel is if you ever move, if you dash, if you do anything, you lose cover. You gain cover until you move, right? And you're considered light cover. And if you're always in conceal, Vetguard have 3 operatives that can shoot from conceal. You have the demo, you have the spotter, and you have the sniper, right? So it's a good tool in the right circumstance during the right match. Frag grenades, they're frag grenades. I mean, you can do some spicy stuff by trying to alpha strike and getting 2 of your operatives, giving a guy a fly dash, move up with your crack grenade or frag grenade, have move on, move 7 inches, throw your crack grenade. You know, now you have like a 16-inch threat range. Okay, that's cool. Your model's dead. You didn't score any points. Hopefully you killed somebody. Maybe you didn't. You know, I don't like those super risky plays, right, but they have a place in the game for sure. The chronometer, a lot of people play. I never use it. Jimmy Kelly and me get in this conversation a lot. He loves having first turning point or whatever. Me, I don't care. If I lose initiative, it is what it is. I have enough bodies. It doesn't matter. I don't need first turning point. And if you need first turning point, you're already on the back foot and you need to reassess your strategy. If you are depending on your first turning point to do something, or if going first, you're already probably playing too risky with Veteran Guard, right? Veteran Guard nowadays, going back to Medic, another reason why you don't take the Medic is because you need more offensive power. They need that offensive power after they've lost so much. So that's another reason. Topographical charts I do take. This allows you to take 2 different scouting options, which is really nice. Sometimes you're going to want to get your sniper up in a nest so you can fly dash them up there, put a barricade in front of them. Sometimes you're going to want to take a flip and you're going to want to take a barricade in the back. Sometimes you're going to want to do a fly dash over this heavy wall so that your model one of your GA2 models can move up and steal a point from your opponent by moving 7 inches. So they moved 10 inches and they can steal a front point because you went first. You know, it's cool stuff. So, there's a lot of really cool tips and tricks to go with Vetguard. Like, what I always try to do is I always try to go 4-1 on turning point 1. A lot of times if you don't go first, you can't go. And everyone and their mom, every competitive player loves going second. I don't know why. Like, they're like, oh, I get to guarantee the tiebreaker on turning point 2. It's like, okay, that's cool, buddy, but I just stole your point. Is that worth it? I don't think so. You know? I just put so much pressure. Oh, that's okay. I'm going to kill your guys. I let you kill 2 people. And then heaven forbid I go first again next turning point. I'm going to steal them again. You know, and if I don't, whatever you put up there, I'm going to kill, and then I'm going to take it over next turn, right? I think the new strategies with Veteran Guard is that you need to play them much more cagey, turning point 1 than you typically would. Because you used to be able to just go ham and throw them out there, but I don't really think that's necessarily the way to play the team anymore. There's another really spicy tool that you can use. A lot of times I'll into the breach on turning point 2, turning point 3, or turning point 4. Sometimes I have enough models in my backfield for that long that I really need to do a really fast push late game in order to get that extra 3 inches of movement to steal another point from somebody, because I'm doing move again, or I'm doing this, or I'm doing that. Into the breach is such a good tool for like your operatives that haven't moved all game, your spotter that hasn't moved all game, your comms that the leader's finally dead, so he can't shout out any orders anymore. So now the spotter needs to the comms needs to get upfield, right? So you pretty much never use dice to reroll anymore. You're using everything with your ploys, right? It's pretty interesting. Another good one is open board. You have your demo still in your backfield behind a door. They don't move a model up close enough so that the demo can kill him. So he activates and they're like, oh, cool. The demo's activated. I'm going to move people over here. I'm not scared anymore. Okay. The comms is now going to give the demo +1 APL. Heaven forbid you get first activation, turning point 2, turning point 3, whenever this happens. You can then use into the breach. So now the demo moves up 3 inches. And now all those models that they thought were safe, you then do move. You can then move another 7 inches, plant 1, right? So now it goes from a 10-inch threat range to a 13-inch threat range, which is nearly half the board, right? With the +1 APL. And then you can kill 2, 3, 4 models. You only need 1 shot. You know, the Games Workshop knew. They're like, hey, don't give it to him every turn because it's broken. It still is broken, even with a 2-inch blast, you know, not 3-inch anymore. It can't go through walls anymore. I get it. Octarius, you know, they're trying to nerf Vetguard on Octarius. I get it. Okay. It's still pretty disgusting. There's a lot of cool tips and tricks that you can do with the team. But I think the hardest thing about the team is that you have to know what you want to do into every single team. I've been maining this team for 2 years. So if there's a brand new team that comes out, I have to play them a couple times to figure out what I want to do into them. Mandrakes, I kind of got lucky. I was like, hey, I kind of like doing a bunch of hand axes. Oh, it kind of works. Cool. Did you guys notice any other Vetguard tricks or things that you guys saw that really surprised you that I was able to pull off into either one of you?
Oh God, you just described the demo mine one. I think that there's some more nuance there.
I did do that into you too. I think I did. I think I remember. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So we hitched with a -1 stun on that guy, so you couldn't get it off turn 1, and then turn 2 you blew the whistle so we could dash out and then get that 7-inch move. Do it. The tech there that didn't go off, but that I still think is very good tech, is being able to GA2 engage a guy so that you can move past any blockers and still catch a bunch of dudes.
Mm-hmm. That's what the Confidant is for. You can exactly. you can use that move with the Confidant charge a model that's relatively far, move the demo man into engagement range, place it behind the guy, catch even more models, and then dash them away, and you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. That
That's
was really
gross.
hot tech. I liked that a lot. And then, being able to flex with, I agree with you. The move, getting that extra inch was super hot, especially in like late game when there's not as many models on the board. Being able to just run in a different direction, do a different lane, basically, and tap it. You're talking a lot of smack about the um, grenade launcher, but I actually really like how you played him in our game, where you basically kept him in the back line the whole time, as a flex, around to whichever flank was weakest, because it added that dissuading element.
He's like a distraction carnifex.
Yeah,
Him and the and sometimes I never shoot with him. I just score points with him, or I'll sacrifice him to the Mandrake's gods.
A body's a body.
I think in the game with me, like that, just the free dashes, the extra movement, like that first like turning point one setup on open boards, especially when at least on the train we were playing on, it's just there's not a lot of places to hide past your deployment. I think the only cover, at least for like the first like 6 inches, at least for you, was like the biggest building on your center. So it's like, but you put all these barricades, like really awesome spots, and all these models just were right in my face, turning point two, and it just makes it impossibly hard when they don't come off conceal to shoot for me.
Yeah, so you can totally, if you find yourself on Chalneth, you find yourself on a board that doesn't have a lot of vantage or other things, you can actually use your barricades to help spread out into blast teams and stuff. You can put barricades behind you. You can put barricades in front of you. The thing that you have to remember is that Into the Breach has to happen when you have to move towards your enemy. So a lot of times, instead of like putting them directly on the line, you want to put them just like a millimeter behind, right? So you can actually dash to the left and forward, right? And touch like a building, or you put your barricades 3.5 inches forward, 3 inches forward, so you're within cover, so that you can just spread out. There's a lot of times where I've played Pathfinder players where I'll like purposely clump like 3 or 4 people, right? And they're like, "Oh yeah, this is where I'm going to put this is where I'm going to put my grenade guy." Of course, it's been nerfed. I understand. This is before. I'm talking about before, or. Yeah, and so then they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to move up and I'm going to throw my grenade," and then you do Into the Breach, and you move everyone over 2 inches away, and you have if you bring the medic, you can have your medic within 3 inches of 4 models in a square, but outside of 2 inches of all models in a square. And then they're like, "Oh, so I'm going to kill somebody," and then you're just going to bring them back to life. Yeah, that's the only time I bring the medic is in the Pathfinders, because everyone loves Pathfinders, and I will not talk anything bad about the blue folks of Tau.
And I think in our game, you didn't even bother to even put the models that you were going to. I mean, it was telegraphed, and it made sense. But you just don't even bother putting those models behind cover. You just dash them right to the barrier. So
I'll put them right in the open, hoping that you're like, "Oh, I can get a shot. I'm going to put this guy over here." And then I'll be like, "Oh, now I'm going to dash." And they're like, "Oh, now I can't shoot him."
And even the threat with the I think the models that I tried to, in my game, I tried to do a turning point one, the super penitent throw with the frag, and the juiciest target before you had moved them was your demo and 2 guardsmen, and one of them had the crack. And I was like, awesome, I'm going to get this off. The GA, though, like, just it totally turns off that potential. Being able to, like, I have 3 juicy models, and I'm kind of setting up for it, and then it turns into, okay, it's not so juicy anymore because you just group activated. So awesome. So it's kind of like a deterrent for other people when they see it. Actually, I think it's a bait for other people when they see it, because they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna throw or do something where I'm gonna catch multiple models." But I think with Vetguard, like, they're not, if they're playing at your level, like, they're not gonna let that happen. I don't think I got one blast off except that one.
The main thing to remember about Veteran Guard as well is that they can only take security. And security is a really interesting puzzle, because Seek and Destroy is very reactionary. You can just say, like, "Hey, this model's on a point. He looks easy. I'm going to kill him. Hey, I killed this guy. There's no one around me. That's my Robinson Ransack model. Oh, hey, your models are over in your deployment zone. Cool, I kill him." It's almost a little bit like Recon, where you have to do a little bit of pre-game thought. Like, okay, there's a bunch of advantages I can take. I'm going to put my thing here, but still Recon's way easier. Infiltration is also easier than security. Security is the hardest tack up in the game because you have to pre-think where your models are going to go and where your models are going to be at the end of the game. Like you have 4 activations to get your models clear out a side and get your models to AC's defenses or to central control or to secure center line. You never take central control or secure center line into melee teams. Scouts, probably not as well. I kind of learned that one too. Because that is indicating where you are going to be placing your models. You're not going to put them into, you're not going to take that into mandrakes typically, though secure central control is still probably one of the best, right? Because it's there's not a lot of good choices. Eliminate guards or what is that one? Protect assets. Protect assets.
Yeah, that's the one where you kill 2 people on a point.
Yeah, if you have over 11 operatives, you take that one because that's a little bit more reactionary. You can kill models on objectives, but still your opponents can. I played Kellen with his scouts. I did that one, and he would just like tap a point and move a model off. And I was like, okay, well, I'm never going to score this. I never did. So teams can still play around that. They can still do that kind of stuff. So you have to make people play your game. You have to come in with a strategy, and you have to make every team do what you want them to do by board control. You have to be like, that's why sometimes my setups will take 15 minutes into like Nemesis Claw. My gosh, I was trying to figure out where to put the models, how to do this, how to do that, because it can be really difficult, right? And so essentially the key to VetGuard, the absolute key to VetGuard, outside of watching this video, taking these little tips and tricks and applying them, you have to practice. You have to, right? Like this team requires so much practice to be good. Like you have to play more and more and more and more games because you have to know what you want to do into each team, how you're going to force them to play your game so that you can score your secondaries. And that is difficult, right? It is extremely difficult. That's my take.
I think you always, like, as far as like new people playing this game, even VetGuard, people trying to learn it, you have to know how to set up. Turning point 1 is where you lose the game. It is the first place you lose the game. If you put somebody out in the open, you don't have a plan. That's where it starts.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think there's some interesting other takeaways for Veteran Guard, but in general, like their strengths are in their ploys, they're in their models and how you use them. We'll probably come out with a video showing like specific setups for the team on certain things and like what you want to do. And if you guys have like a Veteran Guard player that is killing your local meta, like then you'll know how to beat them, just as much by learning what they want to do and countering them. Right. So I'm actually scared of Hand of the Archon because they have kind of like the reverse thing, them and Wormblade. Hand of the Archon, that your main team is like, once you start killing models, it's just easier and easier and easier for you to kill models. I have a lot of models that die, and I like my models to die, right? So that's relatively good. Novitiates are always a terrible matchup for VetGuard because you just I had some tech, okay?
I felt like it was getting worked.
So novitiates were actually the thing that made me come up with hand axe spam, right? Because like I would always play novitiates and I'd just lose because I would always be trying to shoot. I'd try to be doing this and that. And they're just like, oh, you did a crit. I'm going to turn this save into a crit save. Oh, you can't shoot this guy. Oh, you're going to do this. It made me angry. So what I started doing was I was like, how can I be more aggressive? And what is novitiate's biggest weakness? And it's melee. I can make decent melee. I can make pretty good melee. Actually, I have better melee than Brood Brothers. So like maybe not the Patriarch, but that's besides the point. That's what we have Plasma and Melta for.
Yeah. when, when I look at a vet guard, like a really good vet guard player playing into novitiates, I just am so concerned uh, with melee. Because it's death atonement sucks for us, right? Because we want to kill the model and just get them off of whatever we're trying to get to. And typically that's done by shooting. And when they're still alive after that, that's horrible. And even worse is like, okay, I don't want to get in charge range. It just doesn't play out well. In your team doesn't actually like when Vet Guard goes into a matchup like that, like a 7 Boom model team that doesn't have a melee setup exactly, or like for example, like militants or 3/4s. I just feel like it doesn't matter in a combat really because you got the GA2. So even if I clean up one, I still have to deal with another, and unless I'm getting a double charge off, it doesn't happen. And with 14 models, like okay, you want me to kill them, and then boom, I just lost one of my very important 10 models. So
Right.
It's interesting. The very first time I almost like, so when I would like, I don't think TOs should really play in their own tournaments. So if I ever have to like go in to stop somebody from like having a buy round or something like that, I usually just like, I'm not going to shoot anything. I'm just going to run at you and I'm going to fight you with 14 guys. Have fun killing everyone. It kind of, I was like, actually, some of these are actually kind of good. You know, this is actually not the worst.
no.
You know,
When you play one team for a really long time, you hit a plateau for a while, and then after that, you like start dreaming of them, and you get weird and creative. And think about this, because we, until LVO, right? We didn't have any. I think that lit a lot of the bug for the people here. Not to dive too much.
No, yeah, you're good.
But that's when we started traveling. Was after that it was so inspirational. My first Vet Guard game was against Rami from Brooklyn. He was awesome, super good guy, really good player. Love those cats. Not cats are cool too. The team cats, also great guys.
The rats.
So, yeah, the rats. Those dudes are great. Yeah, my boy Joe has been going to hang out with them. Yeah, those guys are great. That was my first Vet Guard. Obviously, thought about it since then. Thinking about it now, I think that actually the Hoda Vet Guard match is really, really interesting, right? Because I think, Loot and Into the Dark is still a really tough nut to crack. Hoda struggles with Loot a bit, especially Into the Dark, because you have so much of your action economy eaten up by doing mission actions, and you really want to be just pushing. Mm-hmm. One thing that I see a lot of people do, either when they play Hoda or when they talk about Hoda, is just turning on the gas like turn 2, turn 3, and you want to do that, but I think you can be pretty cagey about it, more so than I think you originally anticipate because of Fleet of Foot, right? You can actually start, much like blowing the whistle, you can start further back and then really haul ass those 9 inches and start going from there, right? Or really move up with the 9 initially and then 6, kill some guys, dash into safety, right? But like you talked about, like the sniper tech, flip a guy behind the barricade, pop him. I've actually, so the counter for that, right, is you dash out or you standard move out with Hoda or position for some kind of obscuring, right? You can, if you're ready for it, you flip him with the bird, right? Kill the spotter, kill the sniper, dash back into safety, right? Mm-hmm. So we've got those initial long range exchanges, but then after that, like for example, right? I think a big Vet Guard tech is the GA2 activation, rock up, flip the point before they can get to it. Crimson Duelist will come up, murder a guy, almost unquestionably, and then his buddy cannot perform mission actions anymore, right? Mm-hmm. Which is big play in Into the Dark with the doors, but then also on Loot and Secure, right? I think it's a not ineffective way of shutting down Vet Guard or that Vet Guard tactic starting turn 2 or 3, especially if you hang back a little bit, right? So that, like you were saying earlier, right? Don't play expecting you're going to get initiative, right? Mm-hmm. So if you roll in position yourself where, hopefully the Melta can't get within 2 of you because our Feel No Pain doesn't work in Immortals. With 9 models, it is fairly easy to space out so you don't get blasted by the mine, so you only lose 1 guy, right? With Vet Guard playing so heavily into the middle and playing so aggressively, it means that we don't have to fully fleet advance up, can just move, get our kills, and then either save it for a nice 3 APL activation later or dash away to safety. So I think that it might be a bit of an uphill battle, but playing overly aggressively might actually play into Hoda's strength. I'm not sure. We should try that sometime.
Dude, I'm down. So when Kellen beat me with novitiates, Liam, he went down. I think it was like 14 points to 4. And he was losing really badly, but he just held back on turning point 3 and 4. He was able to push so hard back that my models couldn't do anything either. Of course, that's back when I used to play a little bit more aggressive, right? And I didn't run hand axes, but I do think that there's a lot of play where people are like, oh, if I don't jump out and I'm not aggressive against Veteran Guard, they're just going to run away with the game. And I don't know if that's true.
I don't think that's the case.
I honestly, I wish in my game I had just reserved. Mm-hmm. I wish I had just been like, you know what, it's fine. 2 going 2-4. I think that's what was going to happen. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna gamble with the wounded demo and take this point and see what happens. But with your team, you just set up for the the demo kills my militant who takes the point, and then he dashes off the point, and then another dude comes and takes it, and we're still in the same position. I'm 1 model down. So I think playing slow into Vet Guard is kind of crucial. Like maybe if the Penitent hadn't done that super frag, I could have set it up for a double charge with Reap instead. So I think turning point 1, Vet Guard's got it down. I don't think anybody's got a better turn 1 as for 14 wound or 14 models than them. So you just got to play it slow into turn 1.
Well, I totally agree. Yeah.
It depends, right? Because if they're overly aggressive, then you absolutely want to start whittling them down, right? But just in a way that doesn't overexpose yourself, so you have the capability to do that. But I actually think so much of the game hinges on having models alive in turn 4, like late turn 3, all of turn 4, right? And one of Vet Guard's big strengths is having enough bodies where even though they lose a bunch of guys, they can still hit those objectives and play the secondaries turn 4. So if you are if you are too aggressive, right? You just lose on the bodies, right? So who cares if you killed some of them? If you don't kill enough and you have no gas left in the tank to play round 4, you still lose, right? I think it depends on the team, but you got to look at the utility that you have for scoring rather than killing at that point. I think, like you said earlier, right? People look at 14 bodies and go, oh my God, I got to start whittling these guys down or else I'm screwed.
Right.
That is true, but also if you get tunnel vision, you're screwing yourself because they have enough counterpunch to remove you back, and then you don't have as many guys to play the late game. I think it's more of a positioning thing at that point. I don't know yet, but yeah, if you get overly aggressive,
you don't want to play Vet Guard's game. You want to play
better than you.
Play your own game and try to make them react to you and try to stop them from doing what they want to do, right? Like Giacomo probably has the most amount of games against my Veteran Guard, right? And there's a couple times where hand axes aren't great into intercession. I'm not gonna lie.
Back in their heyday.
I would charge 4 different guys, hand axe guys into Giacomo's dude, and he would be live on 1. And I was like, yep. That was fun. He's mine now. He's mine now. My champion of mankind. I was like, yep. Well, that's not going to be taken.
Absolutely.
But I think there's a lot of, I think even with the nerfs, there is a lot of play to the team, but I think they're a very, very, very difficult team to play. And I would say that to win a major or some kind of event with like currently in their current state, 40 to 40 plus player event or something, you're probably going to need at least 30 to 40 games on both Into the Dark and on Open. So I think that you need at least 80 reps to get there, right? At least. And I don't think that, like, if you come in with just 5 games on Into the Dark, you're not going to know the tools. Like, you need those tools. You need to play against all those different teams in order to know how to play them, because you're playing security. You have to know what you need to do into elites, into melee hordes, into shooty hordes. You know who I hate against Vetguard right now is Hearthkin. Hearthkin, I know I shit on them all the time, and yes, they still suck. I will say it till I'm blue in the face. But they are really bad into Vetguard because I don't have a lot of play without jumping forward that extra 3 inches. And they force you to not do that now with their new buffs. So like, I have to practice into that team, and maybe Vetguard are good into that team, but I'm not, because I don't have the practice into that team. Right. So, I think Vetguard can still beat probably most any teams as long as you have practice into the teams, you know?
Honestly, if Vetguard had access to recon, they would be insane.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It would just
Easy.
it would be so hard.
65% win rate, easy.
Yeah. And the fact that security is scored at pretty much the end of the game almost every time. I don't think there's like anything that don't score at the end. Actually, thinking about it. No, you could score. You could score at secure center line, right? But yeah,
protect
but,
assets, I think.
Yep, but those ones are super hard to pull off and easy to counterable, and like they'll see you setting it up like the moment you start putting models on the line. So Vetguard scoring at the end. If they didn't have to score at the end with the recon, they would be insane. It would be impossibly hard to beat them.
Yeah, they are currently the second to worst team in scoring secondaries.
Yeah.
So like in like score wise,
their capabilities.
The what?
I don't think that's reflective of their capabilities. I think they're like Pathfinders, right? I think they're a team with a really high skill floor. It's going to take some practice.
Yeah. I've seen people go to events and just like decimate themselves just because they don't know when to set up, who to pair next to each other, who to put next to each other, where to move the bottles, when to play each one. Because that's the thing, is like when you're playing this team, you have to know, when do I activate my comms? Which models do I activate first? Which model do I move here? And the only way you're going to learn that, outside of listening to the Squad Games podcast, is practice, is learning when to do these things. And to be honest, sometimes you're not going to be able to figure out. Sometimes you're going to have to go on to Reddit. Sometimes you're going to have to go to one of our older episodes, or hopefully look up one of our new, little guides that we're trying to create a new series. And as to how to do those things. Right. So, I think it's pretty important to practice with this team, and I just can't say it enough.
And if you're a new player learning Vetguard, the team with the 14 models, if you did it in my game and you did it perfectly, the control is in activations with that team. Novitiate's a 10 model team. I think you opted to make me go first, I think.
No, I think you gave me first activation.
Yeah, I made you go first.
I love
it. And I was like looking back on it, I was like, okay, maybe not. I think I was trying to cut down the activations is what I was trying to do. But with that team, activation control is like a superpower. It is so hard for teams that have less models when you're just like giving them bad options the whole time, and then, oh, cool, I get a bunch of these activations that you can't do anything about, and I'm just gonna avoid Overwatch. Easy.
Yeah, it's hard, because if you give them first activation, right, you're gonna get less Overwatch, right? Which I love, and I like stealing points, right? But if you give me second activation, then I'm gonna have a lot of last activations, and it's going to be really hard because I'm not going to group activate as much as you think I'm going to, right? I'm going to go for the, instead of the 10 activation limit, I'm going to go for the 12 activation limit, So I activate you by 3, like.
And group activation for your team is optional, correct?
So
extra guys,
not the extra guys, but some of the options are
correct. So the spotter, he has a can in his statement for his group activation, so he can look at a guy next to him and be like, "Hey, you see that guy? Well, when you want to go, you can shoot this guy." Now that guy can go right away. The sniper can then be like, "Yeah, cool," and shoot, right? Or you can wait to the last activation to do that. So like, it's great to do with the plasma. You take the flip and then you can be like, "Hey, you see that guy? Shoot him." And the plasma's like, "Yes, sir. I got you, boss." And then all of a sudden, last activation, you flip him to engage, so you can't get shot back. You shoot the guy, you kill him, right? Because that model's already activated. Well, guess what? Now your opponent gets first activation. They kill the plasma. Now you only in death, and you kill the guy who shot him.
2 for 1.
Yeah, who needs a medic when you could just literally stay alive?
Who cares? I see Casey over here. I see Casey down here like, yeah, fuck.
I was thinking about like, yeah, I mean, you could, but there's so much utility in just like letting somebody, they have to activate at some point, right? So you, you let them go. They've already activated. You don't actually have to waste the double activation, right? You can. At that point, they're not going anywhere. Like literally, they're not going anywhere unless they're like mandrakes or something.
A lot of times you're gonna do the flip activation thing if you're trying to get like first activation. Like, hey, you see this guy, kill the dude with the shield now, and before your opponent gets to activate, and then you're gonna GA2 because that model's ready and can then move. Right. So typically, like if they've already activated and they're in a bad spot, you can say like, "Hey, we're going to shoot this guy, but not right now."
Yep.
But if somebody messes up in deployment, somebody messes up somewhere else, then you can be like, you can just jump on it real quick with the sniper. So they both shoot from conceal.
I think that is the real strength of the team is the flexibility and the pacing, right? The ability to either like jump on it, go really fast, or slow play somebody out in this like long attrition. I think that's kind of when you'll hit the spot with Vetguard of like knowing when to turn on the gas and when to pump the brakes.
Yeah, that's one thing that happened with Mike. When I got the first kill, I was like, "Oh, there's only 5 models left." Right. And then I killed 2 more. I was like, "Oh, there's only 3 and I still have 11. And then he's like, "Oh, this is not good." It's kind of like that thing where it's like there's so many tricks with Vetguard that you can play mental mind games with your opponents because you have so many activations. If you start putting your foot on their person's throat, in a nice way, because we're all sportsmen here, right? Like when you start doing that, they're going to start second thinking. They're going to start like against the Nemesis Call game. I took so long to deploy. I think I was playing on a time clock. It went from 50 minutes down to 35 before I was fully done. He had 46 minutes left. He took 4 minutes to deploy. Meanwhile, Slow Dakota over here took 15 minutes, 20 minutes, right? And I think it was 15. But by the end of the game, he ran out of time. I had 6 minutes left because in that deployment phase, I was thinking, this is what I'm going to do, exactly when I'm going to do it. And half the time he was like, "I've already activated all 6. I was like, "Okay, I have 7 activations. Done. Tap the clock." Right? Like you have to know what you're going to do, when you're going to do it, and then just go. Right? So plan before, make them play your game, and Vetguard are still very, very strong. I was wrong, everyone. I was wrong. They are not B tier. They are not C tier.
No, they're A for sure.
Easily.
But for sure with the matchups.
only in with somebody who has a bunch of knowledge. So maybe somebody has a bunch of knowledge in kill team, so they can just pick them up and play them well right away. But if you're just looking to start the team, you're going to want to build that knowledge. You're going to want to build those reps with the team. And yes, you're going to lose a lot of games. Yes, I've lost a lot.
The first team to come out.
Yeah.
So he had time to finally get good.
I lost a lot of games with this team, like a ton of games. But like Michael Jordan said, that's the only way that you're going to be good, right?
Right.
Failure is going to make you learn. So look at your game. Don't blame your dice ever, right? Never blame your dice. What did you do wrong to lose the game? Right? It's never your opponent. It's never what you do. You could always do something with this team to win. Yeah, sometimes you're going to roll all ones, but you know what? I can still roll all ones and beat people. As many people have. You can just practice games where you don't shoot your opponent whatsoever and just score points and see if you can win. Right? That's how you develop board control. That's how you develop the basic knowledge of the game, is just play the game for its mission and don't even kill anything. See if you can win a game without shooting stuff, or fighting stuff. All sorts of good stuff.
I think Vet Guard teaches if you're a new player playing Vet Guard, core mechanics are such a crucial part of that team. Even if somebody just dying in Vet Guard is an extremely important function of the team. And that in Kill Team, I mean, everybody in Kill Team is going to, get eliminated at some point. So Vet Guard, that positioning on where they die, how they do it, and what happened beforehand leading up to that, super critical. And turning point 1, getting that person there, extremely important too.
Absolutely. This shows why you're a TO, Liam. Crushing events with this knowledge over here, bro.
Fine.
I think you should do a
Casey's the one sweating me out.
Yeah.
You're side note, Liam, fantastic TO. I fucking love our events so much, man. I love our community. Dakota, I think you should do a future podcast on bridging expectations and reality, right? Because I feel like every team has that learning curve. Just as a game, it has that learning curve. Vetguard especially has it. Probably Pathfinders as well. But
totally agree.
So one of the things that like in the tournament we just played, right? 3 people left before day 1 was even over, and I felt really bad for them. It's disappointing to see, right? And one of the things I like about our community is the retention and the growth. You guys had massive growth in the not just events overall, but like the marker that is Midsummer Mayhem, right? The anniversary one growing and growing and growing every year. And I think that sometimes people sit down to play a game of Kill Team with this expectation of it's going to be this and it's this battle and I'm doing the thing and however they picture, right? And then they play a more experienced opponent or even somebody new as well, and it doesn't go like they expected. And how do they, but that happens to so many people and they still play. So there's something where people who stay with it and then get their friends in and keep growing it, lose that earlier expectation, but find joy in the new reality of the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you? I don't know. That's a different podcast, right? But like, I think
we can
community retention, right?
Yeah, we can touch on that here. I think that as a TO and as a community organizer, you want to make sure everyone's having as much fun as possible. If you see somebody, their nonverbal communication skills, they look depressed, they look down. As a TO, you go up and you talk to them. Sometimes you give them gifts. You make it so that even if someone's losing, you make sure that they're still having a good time. Because losing, it's like that fear of rejection, right? Like it hits everyone different. Not everyone has ADD like me and is only like focusing on like, what can I learn? Right. Some people have actual feelings, right? And they feel those losses in a different way than I would. Right. And sometimes it's a lot harder. Sometimes you play an opponent that was really unsportsmanlike. Right. And sometimes it's harder to get over that. I think managing expectations going into events is the number one thing. My first time ever going to an event, my wife said, like, again, this is my wife making me kick people down the well. She in the Kill Team 2020, and we'll ask Giacomo this question too, but like in Kill Team 2020, when I went to LVO, I am a competitor at heart. I love to compete, and as a content creator, sometimes I have to dial that back. I have to make sure that I am nicer and all that kind of stuff because, I don't want people to dislike me because I like to be liked, and I want to be able to have people stick around. So like sometimes for me as a content creator, I can't be as competitive as maybe as I would want to be. Right. So like when I went to the first LVO, I came in to knock some dicks in. I wanted to fucking win. I got there. Alec Berryman, the nicest guy in Kill Team. I was number 1 in points. This guy broke my team with a shitty, stupid mechanic of morale, and I couldn't win the game. And I ended up tying and getting 8th place, and it messed with me, right? And I got knocked out of top 8 because of that. But I came back the next day. I got 2nd place in the secondary tournament. I felt good, but like, I think everyone, when they go to an event, they all think that they're going to win. Everyone thinks they're going to win the golden ticket. Everyone thinks they're going to do this. They think that's going to happen. And unfortunately, there's only one winner. There's only always ever going to be one winner. And in a dice game and with random missions and maps, there is a bit of luck to it. Sure, you can mitigate the luck. Sure, you can mitigate the dice rolls with skill. And you see that all the time when people always play the place in the top because they have more and more skill. I think it's important to remember not that you're going to have fun. And if you win, awesome. Just do your best. And if you win the whole thing, that's the best you can do. If you don't win the whole thing, then take back what you learned, teach the people from around you, grow the scene from the inside out, right? Because we've seen great players coming from the Pacific Northwest. They rarely ever traveled, right? They're getting better. They get better and better and better because the scene itself is growing. But it's always good to manage your own expectations going into an event. Don't go in there like Dakota, think you're going to smash some people, right? Like that. Sometimes that's not the right mentality. And I think that's like one of the most important things to remember about competitions. Go to have fun, go to compete in hobby track, until you get to that skill level where you think you can actually destroy everyone and then do it,
I think I had LVO 2023. The LVO, last year's LVO. There you go. Mm-hmm. That was my first ever competitive event. And I was just thinking to myself, oh God, I messed up. I think I literally doubled my games with novitiates there. And I was like, oh no. I did great. I was happy with what I did. I did 20th. I totally came in there though with the expectation of being like, all right, I just want to win 3 games and I'm happy with that. Like that's where I want to be. I don't want to be first place. I don't want to be second. I want to just win 3 games if I can. And even more importantly, I want to learn a little bit more about this team. So
there you go.
I think setting a little mini quest is important when you're going to these events to be like, look, if I can't get this, I want to try for this at least.
Try this one out. Try this one out too, right? Go to the event and be like, I don't want to drop a secondary.
Ooh.
Go to the event and think like, I want to have at least 3 primaries every single round. Set these little goals, and those little goals will build up and get better and better and make you stronger and stronger as a Kill Team player, because then they'll just start coming in naturally, right?
I think that's important, especially for new people. If you're like, oh, man, I'm just getting toasted right now. Just, come in there with the reasonable thing, like small mini game for yourself just to keep up the morale.
Well, and I've seen both you guys incentivize that from the a lot of it is from the player side, but you can incentivize it from the TO side as well, right? Like an idea we got from going to Midsummer Mayhem was having not just top 3 and best painted, but then these sub awards that kind of act as like sub objectives. So it's like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to crack top table. I'm not going to get the podium, but I could maybe be best in my super faction. And if I don't get that, well, shoot, right? I could maybe get best in faction, or like in our last event, we ran a side game on top of the main tournament where we were doing like a bounty board. You could like put bounties on like specific people, specific models, and you collect them to the first person to eliminate them, right? And we had like little like purity seals that you would like write your bounty on and like affix it to the to the guy and stuff, right?
Hell yeah.
And we gave out trophies for like bounty hunter and most wanted for whoever had like the most total bounties on their guys, right? And so you guys had super faction and those act as like what you just said should create for yourself, these like little sub objectives, right? Where even if you don't get one of those, they're still more attainable, right? It's that thing of like um, growing in incremental steps, right? And that's easier rather than like doing the big reach. And so, it's just, I don't know, it's fun. Like for me, it's fun to be like, well, I almost had it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The worst part, Liam, I'm totally the opposite of you. Where like I somehow like a clown just stumble my way into like a top table sometimes on accident, and I'm there and I'm so stressed out. I'm like, oh god, the fact that I can actually do it is the worst. It's over, and it's like the best like feeling in the world. And you end up having some really great games. Like that's how I met Alex Squires. Right, was like ending up with that at Pacific Skirmish, and that was like one of my most favorite games I've ever had. And I just think that as much as it is player incentive, I think, or player self incentive, you can incentivize other people that you're playing with by just being a cool person, like having a good game with them. And then from the structural side, from the TO side, I'm not saying it's you've got what you've got, right? But adding just those little attaboys, those little call outs or whatever, that even if you don't attain it, I could get it next time. Those are great. You know what I mean? It's just like
we
like
took
I
them from
want
you.
to come hunger.
Yeah, we took a bunch of trophy ideas from you. I mean, hey, if somebody's copying you, you're doing something right?
Dude, we might have to steal your bounty idea. That sounds like a great
I like
idea.
that one.
You know who
Yeah.
I stole it from? I stole it from the Pacific Northwest guys. I stole it from those guys. Yeah, they I was listening to Kill Team Cascadia's podcast, and they were describing a bounty board. I was like, oh my god, it's perfect.
Good job, Cascadia.
I'm gonna steal it. I'll steal it shamelessly, but I'll steal it. But it was still a good idea, and we had so much fun with it. And same thing with your stuff is we had such a good time being able to like that's in Super Faction, that's in this. Like people want to play and they want to try something, and it's not going to be first place where they're going to get it, but it's going to be something that they're going to have fun trying to chase it down, whether it be a bounty board or Casey chasing down a top table when he gets there.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think it's so good. And as like anybody, and it could be even you, not even a tournament organizer, but just the person across the table being like, hey man, I got jingle, I got this bounty. Hey, you should kill this guy. Hey, kill Master Chief. He's super cool. Like it just.
He's green. You're colorblind. You can't see him anyways, Like
this at the core, this is a competitive community and I love it, but there is so much fun to have running or playing the person across from you, and it is important to realize that when you're playing the game or watching it. And Giacomo, I love your streams because people who don't always get the spotlight get a spotlight. And I think that is so cool because at least when we did it at our events for the streaming, we put 2 brand new people there. Never like I think this is our first ever event, and they were just learning the game on stream, and it's like. That's awesome. That gives them something to go. I'm gonna go watch myself be horrible again, whatever. Make this horrible mistake later.
You go home and you're like, they show the girlfriend or something, and it's like, hey, look at this thing, and maybe there's, oh, you can see where they got a rule wrong or whatever, but like truly, who cares? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's fine. They just had fun. I get more of a thrill. For me, it's like the left brain right thing, whatever it is, right? Like two separate sources of joy where it's like I love like Dakota, I enjoyed our game so much because I'm like I gotta lock in. You know what I mean? I'm thinking we're like we're trying to activate the neurons, right?
It was cool because we were both super sweaty, but we both had a great time. Because that's the other thing is like
it wasn't a bad sweaty. It was
no, it was good.
We're working out. out. To get us sweat. But there's that, and then there's like I had so much joy. So like running the bounty board, like I put on a big fake mustache and borrowed my girlfriend's hat and talked like an old timey prospect.
Alameda Slim,
right? People are rocking up, and at the end of the event, they're like, "Oh my gosh, that was so much fun!" And that felt great watching people leave like laughing and joking. And I think that, I mean, ironically enough, actually, that's I think. Side note, that's the problem with GW. Narrative stuff is they try to write the narrative. Fuck that narrative. The narrative is what happened between you and your buddy and the dice and the models. You know what I mean? That's what you want to facilitate. But it's like two separate things, but they like you can have them both. There's a certain like I just hope that people like when you lock into a game, like really playing your best, and like what you're saying about don't blame the dice. I think that really resonates because it's like, we'll blame them for what? For a loss, dog. You got to take some L's.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's all right. I think as long as like you leave going like, man, next time, oh dude, it's gonna be great. You'll probably lose again, and that's okay. You know what I mean? It's a ton of fun, man. I love meeting new people.
Yeah, me too.
I love playing new people.
Gee, what do you do to like the same thing when you're going into events? Because you have a different mindset as well.
Ooh, well, I definitely never go in thinking I'm going to win anything, regardless of whether it's painting or playing. Because at the end of the day, you want to have fun, right? Like I used to play in a lot more card game tournaments, and you always have the thought like I'm going to win, kind of like how you'd have when you first start playing competitive things in general. But it doesn't turn out that way. So you want to kind of share a lot of those things with friends, and hopefully they keep sharing with other of their friends, and then you have a better time with everyone around you. Or you do what Alex Popov does and a few other people do and just give gummy bears to people, because consolation prizes like buying a beer for someone is pretty good.
Yeah.
Like hey, no hard feelings, I totally kicked your ass, but here's a beer.
Yeah,
like those little moments help them out.
Yeah, they do. I think there's some other good things is like as competitive, like what I want to try to do as well is I watch lots and lots of Kill Team. I may not play a lot of Kill Team, but I watch tons and tons of Kill Team. At LVO, 1,578 games were played, right? I walked around and I touched every single table at least once, every single round, right? I would go around, actually probably multiple times. I would walk around through every single table, looking at people, watching people, that kind of stuff. There is people out there that do have more of a toxic competitiveness, right? And I think both Liam and Casey here are both exemplars of somebody who can be very competitive, but also have great decorum and great personal skills with other players that I think sometimes lacks at those upper echelons or even mid tables, right? Sometimes you just have a bro being a bro, and sometimes it's just like, bro, don't be such a bro. You know what I mean, bro? Like sometimes it's too much, right? So like the thing is like, always remember when you're going to events, right? You are there in influencing how other people are going to view the event, right? I think last year's LVO or this year's LVO, this past one, was absolutely phenomenal. I didn't get any negatives. Maybe people were talking shit behind the scene, but hey, it didn't get to me, right? Everyone seemed to enjoy it. Everyone loved it. We didn't really have any drama. And I think unlike the year before, there was definitely some drama. But I think there was always... Everyone was so fucking nice, right? And I like to see that Kill Team is going into a better and better direction. Sure, there's a couple ding-dongs there doing ding-dong things, and you have to babysit those tables or tell the TOs like, hey, make sure this guy isn't too much of a ding-dong, right? Stuff like that, right? And I think it's relatively important to, as a TO, to keep an eye on those kind of players because they're going to objectively make your event worse. Right. And my thing is to everyone is don't be that guy. Right. Like if you're going to win nicely. Right. Like you don't want somebody to walk away and be like, man, I hate so-and-so. Like that was the worst game I've ever played. Right. Or they came up to me afterwards and they offered unwanted advice and I really didn't enjoy that. There's like a lot of things that can happen to people that, you don't want like, you might not mean it, like sometimes I've given unwanted advice and I found out that somebody was saying like, I really didn't want this advice, blah, 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 blah. I brought stuff the next day because you don't want that, right? I brought stuff to people the next day. I gave them like things and stuff like that to cheer them up. And, like, I was like, hey dude, like, I'm so sorry. Like if you felt any way, I was just trying to be helpful. I won't offer unwanted advice in the future. I'm so sorry. Yada, yada, yada. But it's important with especially women in the scene, children in the scene. We want to keep those people around. We want to keep them coming back. We want to keep other people in the scene. Because I do know
friends about it. Bring
Yeah.
them, have a great
Exactly.
time.
Yeah.
You know?
I unfortunately know too many people who have quit Kill Team because they have had a bad game against people, right? And that does happen sometimes in competitive. And I would say it's extremely rare. It's still rare, but it does happen. So just make sure you're not that guy or girl, right?
It's okay to play hard. Just remember, you want them to come back and play again.
Yeah, yeah.
You want to play again.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to play you. How's it good if you're at the top? Nobody
If
wants
they,
to play.
yeah, if they roll 4 6s, give them a high five. You know, like holy crap, my dude's so dead. All right, good job, man. Fuck, damn it.
The odds
You know,
are so likely that like the person you play at your store or at an event, especially an event because there's so much time between them, the person you play on that one day is not going to be the same player at the next event or the event after that. Like they're however much they practice or whatever, but like they'll probably be better. You'll be too, but like you're never going to have the same experience twice. Like it is so fun playing somebody at one event and then a couple events down the road you get that rematch. It's like, oh my god, they're like so good now. This is awesome. I don't know. I think remember like plastic is plastic, but like people are people, right? Mm-hmm. And not everything is universally applicable. Like so me personally, before a game, a lot of people will be like, hey, here's like a token or a thing, and like it's really cool. I actually don't like getting it after the game, especially after like a really hard loss, because it just feels like a little bit like a pity thing or like a, you know what I mean? And that's not in every case, but like it happened once, and I was like, I don't want this, and that's all right. And the person offering it had no ill intention, and we're good. That's all cool. I just think like sometimes give a little space. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
Be excited to see them next time, and it's yeah, I mean, I think that people who have a lot of staying power, which sounds like a negative that you need that, but like people who have a lot of staying power in any hobby is, I think, because of a certain curiosity. You know what I mean? If you already know, I think the people who I see get the most frustrated are the ones who think they already know how it's going to go, and they don't like when that's upset. But I think that's great. I think it's awesome when you get surprised, even in a way that's negative, because it's like, well, shit, I guess I got some stuff to learn. Yeah, it's great. It's great. Let's keep doing it. Let's play some.
Yeah, absolutely.
More kill team. Can't wait for it.
Yeah, so I think we're going to end the pod here, the video here, everyone. We're going to have to get you both back on here soon because I very much enjoyed our conversations. Maybe talk about some more stuff. But is there anything out you guys want to shout out other than Chiller's channel, YouTube channel? I'm going to shout it out. I'm going to sub,
It's on the I put the first video I've ever done, which was our last event, the 22-person beginner friendly tournament, which is a huge success with the bounty board and everything.
Shouldn't every tournament be beginner friendly? That's what I
This one was for the beginners. It is for them. There's nobody else out there. We had our experienced people playing like compendium and stuff, just rolling up, having a good time, and teaching some people how to roll some dice. So that's important. That's on the squad games thing. We're also going to be doing a event in October, hopefully, for it's not narrative, but it has a narrative. That's important to say.
Okay.
It will be fun.
Hopefully that's about all the events. Yeah, they will be fun.
It will be fun.
I do want to shout out. Chainsword. Dude, they're so far in the future, but we have because will have been almost a year now, so we have like annual events. Our Christmas event, which we'll do like in the second week of December, because people travel later, but is a ton of fun. We have like Santa makes an appearance. There's like presents on the battlefield and shit. And then the one we do not like immediately. There's a little bit of a break, but like our February tournament after LVO is a doubles tournament where you and your teammate each bring like half of a list, right?
That's the one Jimmy Kelly went to, right?
Yeah,
in his kiddo.
That's where we met Elijah, Jimmy, and Joshua. Those guys are great. It's a really casual one. It's like you get to do a bunch of weird combinations that it's like, well, what if I could pair this with that? And it's a ton of fun. And the thing is, like, Vegas is kind of a travel for some people, but it's Vegas. So you come and you play some kill team, and then after that, whatever you like.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, except for the wins.
Hey, hey, baby. I think that's our shout outs, isn't it?
All right.
That's a good one.
Yeah, 90s rap video style, right? All the boys, we got we got Steven, we got Mike, we got all these people. They're great.
How about you, G? You got some stuff?
Of course I do. You can find Squad Games on Instagram at the Squad Games Entertainment. You can find me on Instagram. I'm going to be there as wargaming_studios. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you can join the conversation in the comments or go to our Discord server, which is going to be links in the description. And tell us what you think about the video, what do you think about the episode, or just Kill Team in general over there. And of course, feel free to share this with somebody who you think will benefit from it, because it's always nice to keep sharing things to people. That's always
Absolutely.
nice to be shareable. How about you, Dakota?
Yeah.
What do you got?
Oh, I got others. We don't only make podcasts. We also have a stat show. If you like stats, if you're a nerd like me, like that, we have Meta Watch that should be coming up hopefully next week, because it looks like it's going to be the middle of the data slate. So we're going to go do a deep dive and see how those buffs and nerfs have affected the teams. And we're going to have some top level players on there talking about stats, people who enjoy that kind of stuff. And then we also do the Hobby Highlander. So if you like hobby, you like painting, you like seeing this kind of stuff, we do we test a bunch of paints blindly from different brands to see what is the best white, what is the best silver, what's the best gold, and we've recorded videos. We've recorded 9 of them thus far. I think we're on episode 4 now. Episode 5 will be coming here shortly. And, yeah, we really enjoy that. I'm also editing a How to Paint Master Chief video, and hopefully me and G will have more exciting news about other announcements, painting other teams and other stuff here as well on Squad Games. So not only that, but, terrain videos, all that kind of stuff. So if you like that kind of stuff, subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you like the podcast, go give us a 5-star rating on Spotify, or just give us a like here on Squad Games Entertainment channel. So yeah, that's me.
Till next time, guys. See ya.
Malware bytes popped up right at the end. Dang it, stop recording.